Dub Nation. After the final buzzer. This is where you come for instant post-game reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is Dub's OT.
Can't wait.
With John Dickinson.
Hey, JD, what you up to, sugar? Long time no talk to.
On KNBR 104.5 and 680. Streaming live at KNBR.com and on the KNBR app.
Well, we've got ourselves a series again, and for real this time, and the Warriors are officially in trouble. Rockets come into Chase Center, and they win 115-107 in a game that really was not that close. They did it defensively, they did it offensively, and they earned themselves a win on a night where the Warriors just didn't have it. Didn't have it flat out, didn't have enough offensively. The Rockets continue to get really comfortable against the Warriors defense, and the series is tied. The Rockets move it back to Toyota Center in Houston for Game 7, which is going to be played on Sunday night, 5:30 Pacific time tip, 7:30 Central, and that means we're going to have another Dubs OT coming your way after that ball game right around 8 o'clock, but it's a show that I don't think Greg Silver, anyone in the Bay wanted to hear. They wanted to hear Monday, Minnesota, Dubs OT at that point, about 9 o'clock. But the Rockets, as I've said throughout this series, really since Game 4, the Rockets have a say in how this thing plays out, and we can lament the things that the Warriors did not do well, but the Rockets equally did things really well, which we're going to get into here. And the Warriors now are going to have to go win a Game 7 on the road if they want to extend their season.
Yeah, that was really bad. And the worst part of it all is that the Golden State Warriors had a chance to earn the Minnesota Monday talk, and they did not earn that whatsoever. That fourth quarter was about the worst quarter of meaningful basketball, playoff basketball, I've seen in a long time from this team. I mean, I don't know how many non-free throw points they had before they really subbed out the starters and everything. And here's the deal. Steph Curry, he scored 29, or what was it, 29 in the end? He scored 29. Jimmy scored 27. Those two were just the reason that the Warriors had a pulse.
Totally.
Podziemski was not good. Quentin Post was a full-on unplayable disaster. Buddy Hield was a disaster. Gary Payton II was not effective. The Warriors did not have help from anywhere, and there was a reason that they got stuck in that position. When the fourth quarter started, it was the kind of game where it was whichever team makes a little bit of a run was probably going to take it. And the Rockets wasted no time doing that with a 4-point play.
Yeah, 15-5 run, the 4-point play. The voice you hear, by the way, of course, is Greg Silver joining me here on Dubs OT with JD. We welcome you in, and Greg Silver, and Danny in Vancouver, who's in the house here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City. So cheers to Danny, who got us our first round of the evening here on Dubs OT.
Yeah, first of like 7.
John Curley, Derek Papa in the house. Marcus, the Waterboy Boucher, is in the house as well, holding court here. But it is not the festive evening that we had anticipated, and I know Warrior fans were hoping for, with the Warriors able to get the job done and close it out and head for Minneapolis in a series against the Timberwolves. Now, that series could still come to fruition, but the Warriors are going to have to win a Game 7 on the road. And I saw the great Marcus Thompson, one of our contributors here on KNBR. He said it, put it out on social media middle of the fourth quarter, and I think it's a good jumping off point to just where things stand here before we kind of get into the aftermath of what went wrong, what's fixable, what's not fixable. Of course, we've got the best YouTube chat in sports that is going to be chiming in here. And also with Kyle Haar in our San Francisco studios. Kyle, say hi to everybody tonight, if you can. Throw your Kyle just tossed his camera.
Camera down. Hold up.
Man down. Hand down.
Kyle
man
fumbling the bag like Kyle, the Warriors with the ball on
Kyle's
offense.
Like, OS. Actually, we're not on the air, right? So
I didn't know what to do.
Kyle, 808-1050. 415-808-1050 if you want to give us a call. And we put that out there. Anybody that wants to give Kyle Haar a call and jump in, we can do this even YouTube only, obviously with the Giants game tonight. But yeah, Kyle a mess there on the camera. We won't belabor that as he gets himself squared away. But yeah, if you want to give Kyle a call, 808-1050. Danny in Vancouver would, but Danny in Vancouver's chopping it up with John Curley and Derek Papa right now. So thanks to Danny. We appreciate it. But Marcus Thompson, the great Marcus Thompson, to bring it back to that, he, in the middle of the fourth quarter, as the Rockets are taking control for good in this game, he says, if you think the Warriors are tired now, how tired do you think they're going to look on Sunday after traveling halfway across the country to have to play that Game 7? And we've seen it here now, really, I think, since Game 3, Game 4, Game 5. The Warriors, I think, in a lot of ways have looked worse and worse and worse. They've looked a little older. They've looked a little tireder. And the Rockets look like they're gaining confidence and momentum here in a big way, and that's something the Warriors are going to be up against now as they lick their wounds from this one and they prepare to board that flight.
Yeah, again, this Game 7 was earned by both teams, and I think if you're a Warriors fan, which most of our YouTube chat and our listeners are, this is what really stings about it. The Houston Rockets did not win that game as much as the Warriors lost that game.
Which one? Tonight?
Tonight.
No, I disagree. I actually disagree with that. I think the Warriors did plenty to lose it. I think the Rockets, again, this goes to my take, and I know I've annoyed a lot of Warrior fans, and I may annoy you with it, but I really think the Rockets, we're kind of witnessing them coming of age and learning how to play against this Warriors team and learning the advantages that they have and how to exploit them. As this series is going on, they're more and more comfortable getting to their spots. They are more poised in running their offense. The ball movement is better. Yes, it helps when Fred VanVleet's shooting 70% from three-point range, but they're getting better shots and they're looking more comfortable. And again, we know they have the ability for stretches in games. And by the way, it was a 4-minute and 40-second stretch in the fourth quarter from about 8:33 on, where the Warriors did not score a single point in between a couple of Jimmy Butler free throws. That was in the midst of the 15-5. So I actually, look, the Warriors did plenty to lose the game. I think Houston was excellent really on both ends. I think their defensive game plan, it was basically Steph and Jimmy, nobody else is going to do anything. And if that's the case, then we're going to walk out of here with a win. But I think the biggest thing, and look, we can nitpick and get into both sides, but I truly think the Warriors, it started out with the offense being the bigger problem tonight. By the end of the night, the defense was the bigger problem because the Rockets look like the team that we saw not only in Game 2 but in Game 5 offensively. Comfortable, hitting threes, relaxed, confident. They look in many ways, Greg, like the Warriors would look after Game 4, Game 5, Game 6, as a series would wear on, and they knew that they'd kind of figured a team out and what they have to do to beat them. Again, this Rockets team has nothing on the wall, no pellets on the wall, nothing to, there's nothing to say that they're just going to automatically win Game 7, and I'm not saying that. All of the things that the Warriors have in terms of experience and been there, done that, literally in that building against a different version of the Rockets, been there, done that in a conference finals. The Warriors still have a lot of advantages that they can play their hand with on Sunday night, but this Rockets team is not, it's not the same Rockets team that started this series. This is a better Rockets team than the Rockets team that started this series.
No, and I don't disagree with that, and nothing about your take upsets me or annoys me in any way. I think the reason that I say that I disagree in the sense that I think the Warriors kind of lost this game just as much as Houston won it, probably more so, is that Houston absolutely has come of age. And I thought that after Game 3, the fact that the Warriors won it without Jimmy Butler, I didn't know what I was going to see from Houston in Game 4, and they played a really good game. The Warriors
didn't win, couldn't execute down the stretch.
Exactly.
Still haven't had to execute down the stretch to beat the Warriors, by the way, which is another advantage.
Correct.
If now the Warriors can keep the game close on Sunday night.
Right, and so I thought the way Houston responded in Game 4 actually was very admirable, even though they didn't end up winning the game. But the reason that I still think a lot of this fell on the Warriors is that you kind of punted on Game 5 after that 15-0 run, made it 20-8, and it clearly was just not going to be your night. You come home, you got Steph, you got Jimmy, you got a little extra rest for Draymond as well. But the disappointment in your role players not showing up, and Houston did play a very good game. I am not disagreeing or denying the fact that offensively and defensively, they got progressively more and more comfortable throughout the game. That said, JD, the reason that I stand where I do on that line of the argument is that they didn't necessarily blow the game open. I think if you were playing against a team like the way Minnesota has looked in this playoffs, for example, that 7-point deficit at one point in the first half would have been 19. And so the Rockets, I think, left the door open long enough until it got really, really, really disastrous in that fourth quarter where the Warriors had no offense whatsoever. I think that's the reason why I say the Warriors, for as bad as it was, through 3 quarters, they are down by 2 points, and they still had a chance to squeeze that one out and get out of it somehow. Instead, they got to get on a plane tomorrow, as do you, and they're going to Houston.
Well, and why didn't they turn the game into a blowout, though, would be my counter to that. Because the Warriors hit some big shots. For as bad as the Warriors' offense was, I thought Steph, I thought Jimmy, I thought Moses Moody at different points tonight. I thought they hit some big shots to be able to hang in the game and still be in position. I mean, the Warriors made 15 threes tonight. They didn't do it at a great percentage, 15 of 50. They've become a little bit more three-point happy, I feel like, as this series has gone on. The Rockets, again, the difference between the Rockets being able to make 8 threes in 12 might be the difference between them winning and losing this series when it's all said and done. Tonight they hit 12, but they're not shooting a million of them. It's 12 of 30, and so the Rockets are doing it in an efficient manner. They're owning the paint. They're owning the boards, and the Warriors, again, as they try to get back to the drawing board before heading to Houston for the Game 7, they're going to have to figure out a way to find the energy, I feel like, and come up with a scheme both ends that can slow this Rockets team down. Because I don't think tonight, I'll also say this, and we'll get to the phone lines, 808-1050, 415-808-1050. We're going to get to a call here in just a second. I think they're going to have to get back to the drawing board, and I really think it's on both ends of the floor that they're going to have to do. All right, let's get to the phones. I'll save that thought, and we'll get to the phones here. D in San Jose is up here on the Sports Leader. What's going on tonight, D? Appreciate you joining our Dubs OT show here with John Dickinson and Greg Silver.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good tonight, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, my God. I don't even know where to start at right now. I'm just off for words. I've been a Warriors fan my whole life and some other thing originally. I'm going to start with Quentin Post. Quentin Post, he's not it. We got a young Houston team that's playing lights out right now. They're bumping and grinding. You know what I mean? I think Quentin Post can skip the next one out. All he does is go straight to the corner and wait for a three. He waits for somebody to throw him the ball for 3-point. We need you down low to grab rebounds. We need you to be more aggressive. But that's where we need to put Trey Jackson Davis in the game. He's a little bit, even though Trey Jackson Davis, he at least bumping and grinding, he needs to grab boards. You know what I mean? And then Buddy Hield, he needs to come out the game. We can put Transcoast in the game. You know what I mean? But we do have to go ahead and put Jonathan Kaminga because we need height. You know what I mean? We're talking about Sandu and Dan Fleet. Dan Fleet went to 29 and Sandu went to 21. There are 2 players that's playing good. We need 1 man that can play man-to-man with Van Fleet to shut the 3 down. We just need 1 man. It can't be Pods. Pods get burnt every time. You know what I mean? It can't be Buddy.
Well, here's the problem, D. Here's the problem, D. You're not going into the bag of tricks in Game 7 to start pulling. I'll say this: Pods has got to play. Pods is playing. Moody's got to play. Draymond's got to play. Obviously, Steph and Jimmy Butler have got to play. The pull Pods out and go deeper into the bench and maybe TJD over Post or Looney. I think that's one that could potentially be in play. But again, because Post was really hunted tonight, obviously. But I think what it boils down to for me more than anything is the guys that are the Warriors regulars are going to have to play better. Point blank, bottom line, end of story. Because I don't really think that the answers are deeper within this Warriors roster. I really don't, D. And that could mean the Warriors are taking an L and blowing a 3-1 lead and moving into their offseason much quicker than anybody would have possibly anticipated. D, thanks for the call, man. One more point. Go for it.
One more thing. As far as Paul, I just think that once you get on Sangoon and stuff like this, they need to learn how to switch. You know what I mean? They need to switch off the ball and put like Draymond back on Sangoon. That's it. But you have tonight.
No, I think that's a fair point. Thanks, D. Go ahead, Greg. I'll let you react to some of D's call there. I mean, I just the thing that I keep coming back to is, look, they couldn't score enough when they needed to. They couldn't get stops. When they did get stops, I thought their best offense was transition offense, but they couldn't get the rebound. And then Steph Curry, again, we like tonight, it's the debate that we were having at the top of the show as far as Steph Curry. 4 turnovers. Well, yeah, a couple unforced. A lot of it's good defense. And a lot of it is when you're constantly pressuring a player and defending them at a really high level. Then when the pressure isn't as great, they're sped up so to where they make mistakes, even though the pressure on an individual play isn't there. So we can talk about carelessness, but I think the Rockets, as this thing has gone on, are forcing more of that carelessness.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get too deep into the whole rotation this, rotation that tonight, because it's not like it was a couple of players that weren't giving you much. I mean, it was kind of
terrible.
It was everything.
Great.
Gary Payton would have been great, was terrible.
Post
Buddy
was
Hield,
terrible.
who's had a good series at home, was terrible. Quentin Post was just freaking unplayable. And, I don't like
Looney
saying
was
that.
only into foul.
Yeah,
Looney was only into foul a couple times.
Moody, I think, had a couple of timely shots, the ones you referenced, to kind of keep the Warriors afloat.
I think he's got to play. I know he was 5 for 13, but to me, Moody's got to play.
Yeah, you got to have the on-ball defense at this point.
All these series come down to playables. We talked about it early on, and now the Warriors, as you look at it, I mean, both teams basically, I think the Rockets right now are comfortable, obviously, playing Van Vliet. They're leaving Jalen Green out there, even though he's had 2 great games and really, I think, 4 bad games offensively.
Yeah.
But he's one of their guys, so he's playing. Şengün is playing. I mean, Steven Adams freaking killed him tonight. And the Warriors went hacking Adams, and he made him pay. And the times that he didn't make him pay, the Warriors couldn't get the freaking rebound anyway. So it wound up being problematic on that front. But Amen Thompson's found his game. Again, 5 at 13, but he's scoring in the paint, and he had 14 points. Like, the Warriors right now, and this is what I wanted to ask you, how many guys right now are truly playable for the Warriors? Like, and you got to have 5. So you can't, and if you don't have 5, you're in big trouble.
I think that on your average night, they do have 5 playable guys. Tonight they had 2.5, if you want to say Draymond.
Okay, well, who's Sunday? Because there's one game left that matters.
I think you put Moody in that list. You gotta let Moody give what he's got. I think Podziemski, same thing. Podziemski's gonna play, right? That's not really much of a discussion.
Some glamour
here.
shots here.
Oh, you guys! Ooh, yeah, you gonna sign him in the middle of the show? I like it.
I might.
I'm gonna say Podziemski, Moody. I think GP2 does need to play. I'm not saying if it's a game like this, he needs to play 27 minutes, but you got to get Gary Payton II out there. And honestly, this is gonna be one that's controversial. I think you got to give Buddy Hield some run, especially with what he's done in a couple of games this series. Now that could be
I'm
10
done
minutes.
Starting him. I tell you what. I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going back to the lineup. I'm going back to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Moody, Podziemski, and the big 3.
I'm going back to the lineup that went 19-3 or whatever they did. I'm going back to Steph, Podziemski, Moody, Butler, Draymond, and I'm gonna figure out if it's TJD, maybe TJD, like the backup center spot. Looney I think is out. I think Post, you need to be able to stretch the floor. I think you might give him some run, or you give TJD some run. I think, go ahead, Kyle.
If we're talking rotation, Steve Kerr just said that Kuminga is 100% on the table for Game 7.
Okay. Again, the Warriors lost 2 straight games for the first time in this series, so that means there were probably 5 questions about Jonathan Kuminga. Every time the Warriors lose, it's got to be, Jonathan Kuminga. Always would have been better with Kuminga every time they lose. So, Again, he's on the table. I don't think you go back to him. I mean, Steve Kerr sure as shit isn't going to rule him out in a press conference.
Why would you? With the game you just saw from a lot of your guys. No, and just to close my point on Buddy Hield.
Headline, JK carries Dubs to Game 7 win in Houston.
Maybe.
Again.
That'd be a story. Just to close up my point on Buddy Hield, you do not need to play him more than 10 minutes, especially if it's a disaster. My point is you give him a chance to give you something offensively, because when he has done it, it has flipped 2 games in which he was won in this series. So maybe you don't need to lean on him too much. I think he has done enough to where you give him a shot in Game 7 because of how much you are living on the perimeter right now.
808-1050, 415-808-1050. We got a couple of lines open if you want to jump in and join the conversation on the phone lines. Miguel talks football here on Dubs OT in the chat. Let's get to some chats here. If I'm giving anybody more minutes off the bench, it's Spencer, hands down. Spencer, I think Spencer, I've said it for 3 games, Kyle. Kyle, you know this. Greg, you weren't with us the other night, but after Game 5, but I've been saying, like, I thought even in Game 2, Pat Spencer showed he could play a little bit. He's been unafraid. And even, I mean, tonight doesn't matter. The Game 5, when it was a blowout, I guess doesn't matter. But the Rockets have just not really, it's odd to say, but Kyle, they haven't had an answer for Pat Spencer. Like, again, are you going to really go to him in a Game 7? I don't know. But if Kuminga's on the table, I mean, Pat Spencer's had a better series than Kuminga. So I guess Pat Spencer should be.
The other thing I like about Pat Spencer is he isn't afraid, and he isn't afraid to attack the basket, which is what they've been lacking in these last few games.
And tonight, when the Warriors did attack the basket, they did it tentatively, and they were missing layups, and they were getting their stuff swatted. What's going on, guys? And it was all bad. Hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah. We love our Dubs OT devotees.
By the way, you see Will and Pacifica over there?
Yeah, Will can come on tonight and cuss all he wants.
So if there was one positive
Will
of this game,
hanging out with Marcus Boucher.
Will and Pacifica came over from his seat and talked to me and Derek and Marcus, apologizing for the other night. We're like, dude, we knew you were going to drop an F-bomb.
No,
it's all good.
It's not. No. It's not okay when it's on the air.
It's true.
Not okay.
That's
I'm
true.
not condoning that. He can apologize, and that's great. But it's still, like, you can't do that. He could have done it tonight, and we all could have laughed because we're not on the radio. But I'm sorry, like, I can't condone that. Hype Flicks in the chat. Pat Spencer, the only other guard on this team besides Steph who can actually blow by defenders with a first step and take a little bit of that pressure off. Right? Use that. The way you beat the kind of pressure that the Rockets apply is by putting your head down and attacking it and looking to score, going to the basket in that vein.
And they did not do that. Here was the problem. It's not just the whole living on the perimeter and not making threes at an efficient clip. I'm going to speak like a high school basketball coach just for about 10 seconds. Long shots and living on the perimeter, if you miss them, that's likely long rebounds. Long rebounds are broken possessions. The Houston Rockets in the half court at offense suck. By the standard of playoff teams, they are not good.
Better in this series.
They are, but by the standard of the remaining playoff teams, they are not good.
Correct.
When you got these long rebounds and you're living on the perimeter, it allows Houston. It just plays right into their hands with they use their speed, their youth, their athleticism, and they don't have to really get set. You attack a team that doesn't really have a true center out there, and that's how you're able to find offense and also get a team that's a little bit older and has 3 best players, 35 and over, to be running up and down constantly.
No, I think you're right about that. I think that's absolutely the case. Let's get Eric in San Francisco next here on Dubs OT on the phone lines. 808-1050. I love this. 415-808-1050. We're getting freaking calls here on a YouTube-only show. I love it. We'll get to the chat here in just a second. What's going on tonight, Eric?
Yeah, I just don't understand. Why are we starting? What's his buddy? If he's not hitting threes, he can't rebound. He can't pass. He can't dribble. He can't do anything. Why did we go away from the lineup that went 19-3, 14-1 or whatever?
Moody. I think. Well, it started with the Jimmy Butler injury as to the literal reason why. And then Buddy had some success in Game 3 and Game 4, and he helped the Warriors win both of those games. And then Kerr stuck with it as Moody's shot wasn't there. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think Eric, it's a matter of I think you got to go back to Moses Moody. To me, you go back to the lineup that's been – to me, it's ride or die. I tweeted this during the game, actually late in the third quarter as the Warriors were kind of hanging by a thread, and even at the beginning of the fourth quarter. To me, I think Kerr has to ride or die with the Steph, Podziemski, Moody, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green lineup and mix in a little GP and figure out one or two of the bigs, how that's going to shake out, and maybe a little Buddy Hield here and there. But I'm with you. I'm
cool with Buddy Hield if he's hitting a few threes coming off the bench. Fine, give him some run. But why are you starting a small lineup against a team that's big and athletic? It just makes no sense. Honestly, if the Warriors end up blowing this 3-1 lead, I think this series loss is 100% on Kerr. He punted game 5. He mismanaged, in my opinion, mismanaged the lineup ridiculously. I understand that Buddy had some success when Butler was hurt, but he's not spacing. It's pretty evident. We've seen it with Buddy all year. Either he's hitting his three and he's offering something, or he's giving you 0. And he's given us 0 the last 2 games. So I just don't understand why you wouldn't go with the lineup that got you to the playoff. It just seems so illogical to me. And
yeah.
No,
I'm with you.
And with Quentin Post, okay, if he's hitting the 3, great. Otherwise, you got to go TJD, because TJD, even though he can't finish worth a darn, he at least can give defensive rebounding, and he could be kind of the anti-Steven Adams.
Yeah.
So I'd rather see him out there than Post, who is just getting torched on defense. And that's it's not Quentin Post's fault. He's a rookie.
No, yeah. He's unathletic. He's learning. And he's look. It comes down to the whole playables thing, right? When every team looks to exploit every weakness, and Quentin Post as a rookie is an exploitable weakness, and so that's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
Right. So it's I just think you ride with the 5 that got you to the playoffs. You sprinkle in GP2. You give Buddy Hield 5 minutes, and if he's not hitting a 3, you pull him and you don't put him back in the game, period, because he offers absolutely nothing if he's not hitting the 3 ball. And a couple times tonight, he had wide open 3s and he just bricked them. So, and we know from Buddy's past, with the Kings and stuff, if you followed him at all with the Kings, this is how he is. He's just a schizophrenic player. He either gives you something or he gives you nothing. So I don't understand.
All right, hey, Eric, thanks for the call, man. We're gonna jump in here. Appreciate it. Good comments there. I mean, I'm with you. I would go back to that lineup again. I would look. Yeah. I would look at. You got to figure out the big thing. You got to figure out GP2. I think Kerr wanted defense tonight, and that's why he went with GP2. I think Kerr thought coming into the game, the key to this win would be setting a tone defensively early and basically eliminating the Rockets' confidence that they could score enough to beat the Warriors, regardless of how well they were going to defend. And I think it backfired in a sense that the Rockets still, GP2 had a terrible game tonight. I mean, GP2 was basically in, I think, to slow down Fred VanVleet, and Fred VanVleet the last 3 games has absolutely been annihilating the Warriors. I mean, he's hit 18 threes in the last 3 games.
Yeah, what a work week for Fred VanVleet, huh? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, getting it all done.
Getting it done, big time.
It was pretty ridiculous, but yeah, they got to find some answers, and the margin for error is none now. When they were trying to get into the playoffs, it was essentially they had 3 swings to get in. They had the Clippers game, didn't happen. They had the Memphis play-in game, that worked out. But if they had lost that they would have had that 9-10 game against Klay Thompson and the Dallas Mavericks. Didn't need it. This is another case. They had 3 swings. They essentially punted after a bad start in Game 5. Tonight was a really important one. Didn't happen. Now they've got one last chance, but here's the thing, JD. This whole Warriors got to get off to a good start. Let's just be honest about it for a second, and this is not to be a homer comment that's overly negative. It's not to be a homer comment that's overly positive and focused on the Warriors. It's just the reality. Whether or not the Warriors have gone on to win games, they have not traditionally had good starts this year.
No.
Even in the games that they have got it together, they have not started well. They did it against Memphis, and then Memphis made it a close game. They did it in Game 4 of this series against the Rockets when Buddy Hield came out, set that tone defensively. By and large, though, for as many games as the Warriors have found a way to win, they haven't done it in the first quarter, and they've certainly lost a lot in the first quarter.
And I'm going to say this as it relates to Sunday. You can't get down again early Sunday.
Nope.
Because the whole weather the storm thing, I mean, you get down 17-5 or something like that in the first 5-6 minutes on Sunday, it might be night real quickly for the Warriors. And again, I know, for the torment that the Warriors have put on the rest of the NBA and the Rockets franchise specifically, none of these current players, but Ime Udoka's been through it in the 22 finals. And I mean, you get down again early and it's big trouble. Like they're going to have to get off to a better start. I'm not saying you got to have a lead, but you got to be able to withstand early. Kyle, let's get more chats. Kyle's clicks here. It's Dubs OT with JD. 808-1050. 415-808-1050. EB here. Warriors lost the shooting percentage battle, the rebounding battle, the turnover battle. I'm not even going to mention the points off turnover battle. That's why they lost. Well, I'm going to mention the points off turnover battle because you look at it and it ended up 22-12. 22-12. That is what you call a 9-point difference in an 8-point loss. And look, this game wasn't really an 8-point loss. I mean, this was really, I don't know, 15-point loss, 16-point loss. I mean, the beginning of the fourth quarter was just nasty.
1 for 16, 0 for 10 from beyond the arc. That is all you need to know about the way they started the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And again,
with the game hanging in the balance, ready to be stolen. It would have been – see, I looked at it – it's interesting. You looked at it as the Warriors kind of lost the game. I looked at it as if
No. Going into the fourth quarter, I looked at it as
they were going to steal the game.
Yes.
They were going to steal the game if they won it, and they've already really stolen 2 games in this series. Were they going to steal a third game at home? And they proved not to do it. You know what the Rockets – I'll tell you, there's 2 things I think the Rockets have proved. 2 things the Rockets have proved.
Okay.
They're not the 2022 Grizzlies.
Yep.
And they're not the 2023 Sacramento Kings. Like, I think this team is this, and that relates to going into Houston in Game 7 and having a chance to, like, this ain't that. Anyway, I apologize. I interrupted you again. I'm always interrupting my guy, Greg. I'm not used to working with a partner. I'm not used to working with I apologize, Greg.
No, these are good points, though. And just to be clear, my take on the Warriors lost this game probably a little more than the Warriors won it. Warriors lost this game more than the Rockets went and took it. I think that's looking at the larger picture. Going into that fourth quarter, though, I absolutely was looking at it in the same vein as you as, wow, the Warriors really got a chance to go and steal this. Fourth quarter starts in disastrous fashion with the 4-point play and Fred VanVleet, who just cannot miss this week. But there were so many pivotal plays that we're accustomed to seeing the Warriors make, the difference-making plays, the little things that they just let the Warriors or the Rockets take advantage of. And I'm talking about miss a free throw on the hack of Adams, and Şengün gets in for the rebound and puts it up for 2. Like, what's the point?
Totally. It didn't look like he hit 3 of 4, so it looked like it wasn't going to work. But then he ends up missing the 2, but Şengün gets the rebound and puts it back in, and it's frustrating as all heck when you look at it that way. 808-1050, 415-808-1050. More in the chat here as I continue to shift screens here, and I'm also taking care of a little business here as well. Joke's on you. Lakers, no center out. Pistons, no center out. Denver, center playing against great center in Zubats, TBD. Warriors no center, and I'll just add some ... from Jokes on You. Look, well, here's the other part, and I don't want to spend tonight talking about the offseason because the Warriors have not lost this series, Greg. But what have I said as Billy Joe from Alamo shows up here at Harmonic in Thrive City? What have I said all year since the Jimmy Butler trade? This season is about how far can they get, and Jimmy gives you a legitimate chance to believe you can make some noise in the playoffs.
Yep.
Although I think the other thing we can say, and I'll hold off on this part, I'll hold off on it, but Jimmy gives you a chance to make some noise and be in the conversation for making a run. But it's also you're trying to evaluate what this team needs to do moving forward if they come up short. How do they come up short? Why do they come up short? What does it look like? I always say in sports, how things end matters. How a season ends, in particular for a playoff team, matters. It matters as it relates to building toward the next season and what needs to be done. And I think the one thing that is 100, I can say it now, this team's got work to do in the offseason.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And adding, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to violate my own rule. I almost dropped an F-bomb, Kyle. Get the dump. Kyle, you ready for the dump button? Knock the camera over. Don't knock the camera over.
Is this actually a no swearing operation?
I'm just not going to drop F-bombs.
No, that's good. That's good.
I'm not going to drop F-bombs.
No, it's more just like, do I have to be like?
I'll drop
okay, gotcha.
But I'm not going to. That's probably it.
Gotcha.
That's probably it. I mean, other ones can be offensive for different reasons.
I just don't want to get fined by Mike Holler. That would be pure humiliation. Mike's not gonna. I might swear. Well, no, we're gonna be on the radio Sunday. So I was gonna say I might swear Sunday. Anyway, I just mouthed it for those on YouTube. No, I'm kidding. Were you gonna go to the Cam Johnson route? I was not gonna go the Cam Johnson route. Okay. You know who the Warriors should sign it? You as a free agent? Kyle, you want to take a? I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you a guess. Greg, I'm gonna give you a guess. There's a player who's a free agent who this entire series I've been thinking about and haven't mentioned his name once as somebody the Warriors should sign. The Warriors should sign. Chat right now. Who am I thinking of right now? Don't look, Kyle. Don't look, one Greg. Guess. Who am I thinking of that's
on the Rockets?
No, just anybody. I'm just anybody on any team. They're on a playoff team. I will say that. They are a playoff team.
Okay, so I know this player had a 2-year deal. I don't know if this is the first or second year of the deal. Steven Adams.
Steven effing Adams.
The Warriors I was going to go for Steven Adams.
Really? Are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
God. Okay, well, I'm not smooth. Clearly, I'm not smooth. The Warriors should sign Steven Adams.
That's why I asked if he was on the Rockets.
And I know, and I was like, well, that's bullshit. Like, I'm not going to tell you that because I was trying to psych you out and you stuck with it. So I appreciate, respect to you. But no, I looked it up and no, Steven Adams is a free agent. I mean, let me double check that again. Steven Adams contract.
And while you're looking at that, I'll let everybody know before we do fun with numbers that the Rockets are a plus 53 with Steven Adams on the floor through 6 games.
And here's the other thing. We gave Steve Kerr credit, and I'll get to the Adams contract in a minute. We gave Steve Kerr credit for the Hacken Adams, and Udoka basically took him out of the game.
Yep.
Tonight, obviously, Udoka didn't take him out of the game in that situation, but him being on the floor has made Steve Kerr play another big. And tonight he did it just to foul, but Kerr does not want to play another big. He does not. He doesn't want to play any of his bigs. John Jay, I like Adams too, but Kerr doesn't like that kind of center. Well, again, he liked Andrew Bogut. I know Bogut's more of a passer, but I don't know. Like they need some Steven Adams. They need some Steven Adams. Andis Brown Adams is going to get some nice cash. We will. Yeah, Grace, come on over. Do you want to say hi? Say hi. Yes. Okay. You'll say hi off camera. Okay. Nice to see you, Grace.
Hi, Grace. Thank you.
And yes, Greg's slow playing his, but yes. And yes. Thank you. 100%.
If the chat peer pressures me, I'm chugging.
By the way, Danny here, if Danny bought us, we're going to switch that to JD, because Danny lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And he comes to, every once in a while he'll come to some games, and he's one of our best callers, and so that, like, just I'm telling everybody watching and listening, but like Danny's not paying tonight for that. That's on me. Thank you, Grace. See if you can make that happen. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. The wonderful folks here. We got Grace tonight. We got Alex tonight. Mike was here earlier. Jesse was here earlier. Eddie's still running around. Eddie, the owner, is running around and doing stuff. I
got to tell you, if the Warriors lose on Sunday, I'd probably be –
it's my greatest disappointment, honestly, is I didn't even want to say it. I didn't even want to say – I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it.
I would just say I'd be most heartbroken for our chat and the Dubs devotees for not doing more shows. I'd be second most heartbroken for the wonderful people at Harmonic Brewing.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say it. Like, I don't want this to be our last show here this season. Like, that's, I mean, and again, I didn't want to speak that into existence, but obviously now there is the potential for that to be tonight, to be the last home game for the Warriors. I mean, that's just the reality. EB here. Come on, JD. There's another game Sunday. We're not talking about next year yet. Or are we?
It's on the table, buddy.
Hey, whether they win or lose Sunday, you can sign Steven Adams. That's not of the season's over. That definitely doesn't. That is definitely not of the season's over. And he is a free agent, by the way. So Kyle, let's get some more Kyle's clicks. 808-1050. Wow, best first round series record for any head coach since 1984. Steve Kerr's never lost a first-round series, 7-0. Joe Mazzulla, 3-0. Larry Bird, 3-0.
Hey, shout out to Larry.
Greg's like, shout out Larry Bird. Yeah, Larry Bird was
Go Pacers, baby.
Larry Bird was winning those playoff series as a head coach, I think, like partly before Greg was born, and then like partly right after Greg was born, and like
definitely some before I was born.
I think it was 98, 99, 2000.
Yeah, that's right in the crux.
I think it was 98, 99, 2000. I think it was like, yeah.
He probably clinched like series number 2.
Like when you were in diapers.
Like as I was,
like you were in a blanket.
In the hospital.
In
a blanket.
You were in a crib. and then in diapers the second time. Or the third time. Robert Douglas, no matter what happens, the Dubs need a big man, period. Exactly, Robert. That's not an indictment. That's not JD saying that the season's over and the Warriors are going to lose on Sunday at all. Joe H., the Rockets have not been blown out in their 3 losses, unlike the Warriors. That's true. But I think that's been one thing that's been a surprise to me, guys. Let's go around the room on this one. One thing that's been a surprise to me, not that the Warriors have won the 3 close games, but that the Warriors don't have a comfortable win in the series. Not one. Even the game where they had the big lead in game 1.
That was the most comfortable, and it wasn't comfortable.
That was the most comfortable, and it wasn't comfortable.
No.
And it was about to get less comfortable if Moses Moody hadn't hit 2 shots in the final couple of minutes there. Again, you can look at both sides of this. Kyle, I'll give you the floor on this one. You can look at it both ways. You can say, hey, the Warriors are if it is a close game, the Warriors with Jimmy Butler have shown an ability to win close games. The Rockets have struggled all year at winning close games. But I am surprised, Kyle, that the Warriors have not had a comfortable win in this series. That's the thing that I think, again, that's where I go back to giving the Rockets credit, because I think they've played at a higher level as this series has gone on than I'll admit I would have imagined possible when this series started.
Yeah, and I want to go off of that point because, yeah, the Rockets have played better, which in what seems like every game that they've played so far. And you would have thought that it would be because of the play of either Şengün or Green and them elevating in the playoffs. But really, it's been veterans like Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams who have really carried this team. And I mean, I wouldn't say I'm shocked because the Warriors throughout the regular season, I feel like they were winning a lot of clutch games with Jimmy Butler. At the same time, when they lost, I felt like they lost by double digits.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg. Jump in.
Yeah, Kyle, actually, I'm going to go in with one silver click here because it is my buddy Robert.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, that's
he loves
right.
my silver linings.
I don't have the ability. Kyle can put the chats up. Greg can put the chats up when Greg's on. That nobody trusts me to be able to put the chats up. That might need to be a next season thing. Like, can JD get a button where he can? It's like, no, JD, just log in and talk.
I think we should all share one account.
We should all share Greg. That's right.
Just make a phantom email. Yeah,
I have an account, but I'm pretty sure we all use Greg's account.
That is correct.
All right.
Anyway, Robert, silver lining ready ASAP. All right, I'm going to go with 2. Number 1, I just want to say happy birthday to my wonderful mother, and I was not able to be there tonight. Yes, because I got to watch a fantastic performance by the Golden State Warriors. We will celebrate tomorrow. It'll be good, but
that's good.
Shout out to my wonderful mother. You know, JD's mom shares a birthday with me, so we shout out the moms here on the show.
We do shout out the moms. That's
the second silver lining is that for all we want to talk about tonight and how bad it was and how disgusting it was and how little the role players helped, the bottom line is this. Game 7 is 48 minutes to do enough or not do enough.
It's a completely new game. You're right.
It is a new game, and the Rockets have found something, and they've gained confidence, and they have the momentum. I'm not denying any of that. The point is, we saw it a couple of years ago where the Warriors had a Game 6 at home against Sacramento. They completely bungled it, and then Steph Curry went bonkers and scored 50 in Game 7. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Just the silver lining is that as disgusting as this all is for Warrior fans and for the Bay Area and for KNBR and everybody who gets to talk about it, when Sunday comes around, it is its own self-contained game, and we could be talking about the fact that the Warriors hung on by a thread. They had 3 swings. They got it on the last one, and maybe they're tired going into the Minnesota series, and maybe they don't have enough against Anthony Edwards, who is young, up-and-coming, a superstar, all of that, but guess what? Right now, as we sit here on a Friday night, that is its own separate problem.
Every game has its own DNA. I think it was Tim Flannery who may have made that popular locally. I'm trying to remember. It might have been Bruce Bochy. I for some reason, I feel like Rick Adelman said it back in the day. So I think maybe many coaches have said it, but it might have been Rick Adelman back in, David Adelman's son, who's his dad was the coach of the Kings and the Blazers and the Warriors actually back in the day, long time ago. In between Portland and Sacramento, he also coached the Rockets, and he ended up in Minnesota also kind of at the end. But every game has its own DNA in the playoffs, and I think that's true. A lot of people have said it. And I definitely think it rings true. It's just and that being said, as we're looking for Warrior advantages in Game 7, it is the experience. Jimmy Butler's played in Game 7s. Jimmy Butler's played in massive road games.
Jimmy Butler played in a Game 7 in which his team was up 3-0. By the way,
exactly, and figure out a way to win and figure out a way to win that game on the road after being up 3-0. Elimination. Steph has won in Houston in a Game 7. Draymond and Steve Kerr have won in Houston in Game 7s. They won in Sacramento. I was on hand for that 2 years ago in a Game 7. They haven't had to play a lot of them, but Max Lopez says role players aren't winning Game 7. We need a transcendent Curry performance. That's a great freaking point. That is a great freaking point. It always starts with, and tonight even, Greg, starts with your best players. The role players didn't do shit. The role players didn't do nearly enough. But Steph and Jimmy tonight, they got their numbers, but it felt like, and a couple of people said this in the chat, they felt like hollow numbers tonight.
Oh, yeah, they were very hollow numbers. And look, I hate to even rag on Steph and or Jimmy because, like I said at the top of the show, they're the only reason that the Warriors had a pulse in this game for the most part. But Steph in that fourth quarter was just as disastrous as the rest of the team. The offense turned into let's have our best player and our best shooter shoot it from 35 feet. And guess what? As great as Steph is, as much as he has defied the odds and wowed us time and time again, that's not exactly a recipe in a closeout game.
Glenn, come on over. Glenn, come on over. I want you to show everybody the sign here because we're on camera. Glenn, it
right
believes.
There, right there.
Right? No, we got it. No, you got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it right here. There we go, Glenn. I'm gonna hold the sign. It'll cover my face. That's good. That's okay. No. There we go. Glenn still believes. Glenn, thank you. Thank you. No, not dead yet. Absolutely not. Glenn, thank you so much, and thank you for everything. You're the best, and we appreciate you. Yeah. Glenn's amazing. Glenn's a dentist, by the way, and a photographer.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Glenn is the number one dentist photographer in photographer, his side hustle is photography.
I don't know anything about Glenn.
Imagine that, Kyle. Kyle, was your dad a dentist? Did we?
No, he was a lawyer.
Okay, I was like
a teabag lawyer.
I don't know why I thought. Well, because Kyle's dad stopped by one night here. Were you here that night?
No, I wasn't, but I know all about Brian Haar.
Yeah, no, he came by and said hi. But no, I for some reason I thought he was a dentist for some reason, but yeah, Glenn's a dentist. Think about, again, just quick little timeout and take the old 20-second time. Think about, I'm a dentist and my side hustle is I'm a photographer, a legit photographer. Like legit camera, all that stuff. That's he's doing pretty well.
I mean, I don't know anything about Glenn, but I already know that he has double the talents at least that I have.
Glenn Fujinaka.
Hell yeah.
DDS. So, yeah, if you're looking for a dentist in the Bay, he maybe he's retired. I don't know. But if you're looking for a quality dentist.
Honestly, I need to find a new dentist.
Do you really? Well, I mean, look up Glenn. Glenn's he's in the South Bay, it looks like. Oh, and in Oakland. I think and in Oakland. So he's got a couple offices. Okay. Maybe he does 2-3 days a week at one and 2 days a week at the other.
Just tell Tim Webb.
That's dentist.
He could be your dad's dentist. I was going to say, Kyle, just tell Tim Webb, you got a little less availability on the schedule every week, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so there you go. Oh, it looks like maybe he's with his brother, maybe, Glenn and Trevor. Both. Yeah, anyway, they just, good stuff there.
I mean, look, there's no Splash Brothers. There was no Game 6 Clay available tonight, so we're focused on
808-1050.
Focused on Glenn and his brother.
808-1050. We can take a little bit more. We can take some liberties here when we're on YouTube. 808-1050, 415-808-1050. More chats, back to the people here as we get into the 10 o'clock hour. We're approaching it. We'll probably keep this thing going. I don't know. We'll push toward 11 o'clock and see how things roll. Man, these games have been long. In the playoffs. But yeah, let's go. A lot of chats tonight. Doctor, I can actually say this now. I had to say Dr. P, and everybody thought, what are you talking about? It's Dr. Piss.
Hey.
Dr. Piss. I can say that. I cannot really say that on the radio. Say it with me. Worst home loss since Game 7 of the 2016 Finals. Greg, I'm going to say no.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to name some bad ones. I'm not saying
name some bad ones.
Saying it's worse or better.
And they have to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, the 31-point lead built against the Clippers.
Yeah,
that was
in the first round. And a 1-0. That was a 1-0 series lead in the first round.
Correct. It got it to 1-1.
Now, worse than tonight or worse since? Well, that was more recent. So that was 2019. Yes. Okay.
So I'm just naming all the bad ones.
Just name some bad ones.
That one. Oh, shout out to my guys right there. Hey, Will and Pacifica.
See, Will,
the resurrection.
Will,
let's
you
go.
Want to come drop an F-bomb? We're not on the radio tonight.
We actually aren't. This is just YouTube only.
We're on YouTube in the stream tonight, which means there's no FCC violations. All right, hang on. That's okay. No, all right. Time out. Hang on, just 1 second. I'm gonna set this up. So, Greg, more coming up here from the chat. More of Greg recanting the bad losses that the Warriors have had in the playoffs at home. So we had Danny. We had a member of the chat who said this was the worst home loss since the 2016 Finals, Game 7 against the Cavs when the Cavs won the championship. I remember Derek Papa was like the first person, like we were sitting next to each other at that game. And and Derek was like, and I quick sidebar on that. I couldn't at no point the entire 2015-16 season, at no point, they won 73 games. At no point during that season, from the moment training camp started until Kyrie Irving hit that three-pointer in the final minute, did I think the Warriors were not going to win the championship?
Even OKC?
Season.
Even the OKC?
Wow. And there is tape. KNBR doesn't own it. There's another station that owns it. KNBR doesn't own the tape, but there's tape of me saying I think the Warriors come back and win the series.
Okay.
Down 3-1.
Respect.
Down 3-1. So, anyway, that being said, more of that coming up. From Dr. P. All right, now, so we've got Will and Pacifica, who came on the radio the other night and violated the only rule you can violate. We're like, Will, we're going to give you a chance to talk. Like, that's Will. And I said, Will, Greg was, or Danny was on hold, I think, and heard the full show. Will, Danny in Vancouver. So Will came on the other night, and I said, Will, you got one rule. I said, there's one rule. We're on the radio, man. Like, I'm going to put you on, like, say whatever the hell you want about the game. I handed him Greg's mic. I said, you just can't swear, man, because we're on the air. And Will got through, I don't know, a beautiful 2-minute and 15-second. I mean, it was just, it was beautiful.
I'll definitely take the word beautiful.
It was great. Like, it was great analysis. You were passionate. It was awesome. And then Will, he dropped whatever he dropped.
He dropped the mic in the wrong way.
He dropped the mic in the wrong way. So, honestly, tonight, I don't know, maybe you go the other way. But it's redemption time, as Danny says. Well, so go ahead, man. Take that mic. It's yours. Like, give us your thoughts. You can slide in. Make sure you're on the camera. You
having a much better Miami State today, or tonight, I should say.
That's all right.
And
Will have had a few too many, maybe. We had a little too much evening.
A lot too many last time.
A little too much evening.
New man, new mindset, new day,
you're
new
good.
night.
Yep, lean right.
Unfortunately, we lost, so I'm starting to begin the mindset where I have to be blacked out in order for the Warriors to win the game.
Oh, boy. So we know where you're going. So we know where you're going to be Sunday. You're going to be home Sunday.
Checking back in with Will Nevin at Game 7 for the Warriors.
Game 7.
Other than that, I want to see what you guys' point of view on the Quentin Post minutes were.
He was bad tonight. They were both terrible tonight. They were both terrible.
Both of them give me the mindset and feel where if they don't make the first shot,
yes,
like you might want to blow them out as soon as possible.
And I think Quentin Post has looked timid at times, and he's also, when he hasn't looked timid, he's looked like a player trying not to look timid, which means sometimes you force it a little bit. So it's either been timid or a little forced because I'm trying to show everybody that I'm not timid, and that can be worse. Actually, than just not taking the shot.
It almost seems like he's trying to play the role was like, am I the 3-point shooter, or am I supposed to be the big 7-foot brute that's supposed to be down low to body people?
Totally.
And he can't figure out what his role is.
Totally.
And he's stuck in the middle.
Yes.
And to come to worst, he doesn't do either.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that tonight for sure.
I hate to bring it
and they're attacking him, and they view him now. The Rockets view him as a weakness now.
They know who
when he's in the game. It comes down, we were talking about the playables. As you watch these series, as the series goes on, further on, more and more players become unplayable. And you can't not have 5. Right. So if you have less than 5, you're in really bad shape. If you have 6 or 7, you're in. If you have 8 or 9 that are still playable, you're in good shape. I kind of feel like, and again, doesn't mean the Warriors are going to lose Game 7. I feel like the Rockets have more playable players right now, 3-3, than the Warriors do. Which is
that's
not
their
good.
Biggest advantage because all their players, even though they're known for not to be a shooting team, at least when they don't shoot, they're coming back on defense.
Yeah,
and
they're going to defend. They're going to defend,
and that's why I hate to bring it back to my guy, but Moses Moody and Pajensky. At least when they're not making the shots that Hield aren't making, Quentin Post aren't making, you can at least count on them to come back on defense, give 100% on rebounding, give 100% on defense. Those guys, you don't have to rely on them on defense. With Quentin Post, if he's not making the shot, reliability on defense. Buddy Hield not making the shots at the 3-point line, liability on defense.
Well, you're starting to speak my language in terms of the offseason. Will's on fire. All right, Will, you want to quit while you're ahead?
Thank you, everyone. Apologize for last time.
No, I love this. Will, thank you.
Till next time.
Hold on. Thank you. Will, appreciate you, brother. Thank
Redemption,
you.
baby.
That's it. Redemption.
Redemption.
Look at that. Will. Yeah. All right. One shout out.
Shout out, Davin.
All right. There you go. Shout out to Will's boss.
I'll say this too.
Now Danny, I know you're not a camera guy, but do we, Danny? I don't think we can have this show without taking your thoughts on it. Like, so I think we need. So you don't have to be on camera, Danny, if you don't want to. You don't have to, but you can take Greg's mic here, and we can. I'll get your thoughts on the game.
So I wasn't listening because I was having a great chat with all the producers.
No, we appreciate it.
Phenomenal bunch of guys. I think that was actually I was talking to John.
John Curley, producer for the morning show. Yep,
and he made a great point, and I didn't think about it. He said that they tapped out in Game 5 after about 5 minutes, and that in retrospect might have been a big mistake. I don't know if you guys have covered that.
We haven't talked about that.
So
I talked about it a little bit on Wednesday that I wasn't totally comfortable with how quickly it seemed like that. Like, you got a shot. Let's wait at least until more than 7 or 8 minutes into the game to kind of make it look like you're ready to punt on it. I know that the starters played 5 minutes into the third quarter, but let's be honest, the effort really wasn't there. To me, what it said was it was a statement about tonight, Danny, but it was also, I think, a statement about I think they believed that their only way to win if they had to play 2 games, right? Was to not go all out in that game. I think it was more about the final 2 games than tonight specifically. Although, again, you look at the numbers, and I'm looking at Curry played 42 tonight, 42 minutes. Jimmy Butler played 42 minutes. Draymond Green played 37 minutes, and everybody else was more in the normal range. Pajemski, 29. He can play 35 or 40 if you need him next game. The Warriors didn't go in on Wednesday. They went in tonight, 42 and 42, and now you might have to have Steph and Jimmy Butler play 42 and 42 again. And if they're too tired to be able to finish the game strong or play well, then you got to live with the result, Danny. But I'm with you. I was a little uncomfortable with it. By the way, Andis Brown in the chat. Andis in the chat says, Danny, the voice of God. The voice of God. So the chat is loving hearing from you.
Oh, my God.
Anything else, Danny? Give us. I always love your 2 or 3 points. I
like Will's point about that was really insightful about Quentin Post. I don't know if I can blame the coaches, but I don't think either he doesn't know what he's supposed to be or they don't know what he's supposed to be. But remember, maybe he was going to be a rebounder and just concentrate on rebounding. And so he's kind of lost now. I think they've kind of broken him a little bit.
He's just – I think he's not – we've talked about this, Dan. He's not soft, but I think he's feeling the physicality of the whole series and basically everybody on the Rockets. And I think he's trying, because he is a 7-footer, to impose himself in – ways that aren't maybe the most natural to the way he plays. Like, he basically earned his spot on the Warriors shooting threes because that's what they needed him to do. He's not soft, but he's also not really a post player. And he's not a finisher, and he's really not a great – he's a better post defender than he is a perimeter defender, and the Rockets have really tried to drag him out and get him in between. And any kind of wing player that they've got on him at any point where he's in the game, they attack. And they're going to the bucket, and Emma Thompson's doing it, and Jalen Green's trying to do it when he's out there. And it's become an issue to the point where I think Kerr has to wonder if he can play him in Game 7, to be honest. Like,
interesting. I 2 points. I won't stay on too long.
No, go for it, Danny. We love the Danny. This is the Danny call. Like, if Danny comes down from Vancouver.
This is like group therapy after a really bad traumatic event. So 2 things. I thought that this feels now more like 2 years ago than 3 years ago.
Yes.
Because remember we thought maybe it'll be like the
Memphis
series.
They can get Sunday, but that's going to be it.
So
right?
Yes.
They can get Sunday, but they're not winning a title.
No. And by the way, I like what Greg said I can't remember what show, but Houston's not going to advance either. Let's be clear. If they get through. The other thing is, I was thinking of the way the subs are playing. Remember, I think it was North Carolina, and who was the famous Hall of Fame coach?
Dean Smith.
Yes. He used to have the Minutemen.
Yes.
Remember, he'd bring all the subs in for a minute. I'm almost thinking they should try that. I'm being facetious, but they should almost try bringing the Minutemen and just see if they can just do something. But, they were playing with energy. They were double teaming. And anyways,
no,
I think we're done, guys. I hate to
Oh, my gosh, Danny. Whoa, Danny. Oh, my gosh. Danny's like, well, that's okay. No, I got to keep it. No, you got to keep it. Well, Danny, I appreciate it. You're heading back up tomorrow? Oh, awesome. Well, win or lose, Danny, you're great. And honestly, win or lose on Sunday, give us a call on Sunday night. No, 100%. Danny, we love you. You are in the Dubs OT, the Caller Hall of Fame.
I'll say this about
we're
Danny.
Too young as a show to have a Hall of Fame, but if we did, you'd be in the.
No, we got a Hall of Fame. We'd
have a call. We'd have it might.
Drew Down.
Drew Down would be the first one mentioned because he's the first one that calls a lot. But
I just want to say this though on Danny in Vancouver is when I was back in the Kyle Haar role.
Yes.
And we would get callers and I would take them. It was usually a pretty standard conversation. Drew Down was into a little bit of the funny business and telling me he wanted to talk about some unrelevant topic. We had a great time. Danny in Vancouver and I would just be chatting on the phone for a good minute before being like, oh, yeah, let me put you on the board. I should probably get back to doing my job.
No doubt.
Yeah,
it's 100%. And I know that from my old board op days too. The best callers, you're doing your own show before you're doing your own show. That's what it is. All right, Kyle, let's get back to more chats. Kyle, did you want to jump in with a comment or just more chats? More chats. Kyle's like, I don't need to talk. Read the Steed. Dubs are both really old and really young at the same time. Well, that feels like a statement from last year.
I was just going to say that feels very 2024.
Very 2024. And it's not inaccurate, but again, the way that the Warriors closed the regular season, when they made the Jimmy Butler trade, you see how far it can take you. And I think you also see who fits. Thank you, Danny. Danny's taken off for the night. We appreciate Danny. We'll talk to Danny hopefully on Sunday, and we'll see if the Warriors can get a win in Houston in Game 7, which is incredible to think when they were up 3-1.
Can I just say, you can all sue me in the chat. I'm with Danny. I don't think they're going to win on Sunday. I don't.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
I'm also leaning there.
Wow, Kyle and Greg both.
Okay,
Derek, Papa, they were losing Sunday. Billy Joe says they're going to win.
Thank God for Billy Joe.
Billy Joe and Alamo says they're going to win. Danny says they're going to. Danny says they're cooked too. Wow, I'm going to stick with, and this is going to be complete bullshit. But I'm going to say, it's not really. It's how I feel. I'm going to say what I said to Derek and I'm going to say what I said to Derek and Copes earlier, which is I wouldn't bet against them, but I wouldn't bet on them.
Yeah.
I just think that I wouldn't bet against them because it's them, it's Steph, and it's Draymond, and it's Jimmy. Even though Jimmy hasn't been with the Warriors in this situation, he's been with the Heat in this situation and won in a series where they were really about to gag it up 3-0 with Miami against Boston, better team than this Rockets team to be sure. But all that being said, I do think it's going to be tough. I think I've shared this story with you, Greg, and we'll get to more chats here in just a second. 808-1050, by the way. 415-808-1050 is the number. It says it right on the screen. You'd think I'd be able to remember, but I'm so used to the other one. I thought the Warriors, when they lost Game 6 at home 2 years ago to the Kings, I thought they were in big trouble because they looked old.
Yeah.
And
Malik Monk said so.
Well, until Malik, you hit it. You hit it. So I have told this story.
Okay.
I have told you. You do remember this story.
Yeah.
Until Malik Monk said so. And I didn't know Malik Monk said so because I don't live in Sacramento. So my mom, actually, who shares a birthday with Greg in April, my mom, the Warriors look cooked. They lost on a Friday night to the Kings. It was 3-3. They got blown out. It was the end of the game was actually very similar to the whole game. The fourth quarter was basically the whole game.
Yeah.
The whole game looked like the fourth quarter did tonight in that game. For those that don't remember, it was only 2 years ago. But I was like, man, the Warriors look old, and the Kings look like they got action. And then Saturday, my parents live in Sacramento. And I guess all over the news in Sacramento on the sportscasts on the local TV stations was this clip of Malik Monk basically saying, yeah, the Warriors are old. We got them, blah, blah, blah. I'm paraphrasing. And when my mom of all people texted me this, and she's like, yeah, the guy in the Kings, she's like, who is like, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, really? And so she sends it to me. And I'm like, and Malik Monk basically said, yeah, the Warriors are cooked. They're old. We got them. And, like, right then I was like, Warriors are probably going to win games.
The Warriors didn't have that good of a game 7 except for Steph and Looney.
50, and Looney got a bunch of rebounds.
Yep.
But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse at this point. And I don't know if anybody on the Rockets said the Warriors are cooked.
Although Dylan Brooks did kind of insinuate that Steph was playing timid after Game 5.
I don't have an aunt in Houston that's gonna like text me and be like, yeah, Oman Thompson was just crushing the Warriors to Vanessa Richardson on the Houston Postgame or whatever. But anyway, 808-1050, 415-808-1050. Greg, a thought, and then more chats as we continue here toward 11.
While we let the phone lines fill up, I just want to bring up a point that actually was going to get to something I wanted to get to today from Robert Douglas. The small lineup was great back in the day. Now it's time. The time is over for the small lineup. Here's my thing. I agree.
This is an off-season thing, though.
It's an off-season thing, but I just want to make the quick point that I agree in the sense.
Put it back up. Okay. Leave it up. I'm okay leaving. I like leaving. Like, let's just leave them up for a minute.
All right, let's leave them up, baby.
Leave them up. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree in the sense that the small ball lineup was kind of deceptive when the Warriors were at the peak of their powers, in the sense that Draymond Green made it all work because he could play like a center as a 6'6" guy with an incredible wingspan and basketball mind. That is true. However, let's look at who else was out there, in the sense of you had an Andre Iguodala, a Klay Thompson. You had these long wings that could shoot the ball either incredibly like a Klay or well enough like an Andre Iguodala, to where it was like you were sort of playing this lineup where Steph was clearly your weak link defensively, and then you just had a bunch of really lengthy wings and incredibly smart players that made it work. If you look at it today, Klay Thompson suffered 2 brutal injuries. He is off the team. Brandon Podziemski is pretty awesome for a second-year player overall. I'm not trying to come down his road, but the small lineup with a 35-year-old Draymond Green anchoring the defense, and you got Jimmy Butler, but you don't have your traditional point of attack guy like Andrew Wiggins kind of was, but he couldn't be your number 2. It just doesn't fit in quite the same way.
They had traditional positions back then. They did. And that's a great point, and that's something that takes me back, because that's something I used to say all the time. Like, they had, as much as the Warriors were positionless, they had the greatest shooting point guard of all time. They had maybe the greatest shooting 2 guard of all time. It's Klay or Reggie Miller, I think, for sure, in terms of 2 guards. They had both Harrison Barnes and Kevin. I mean, when they had Kevin Durant, they had
I'm not even talking about pre-KD.
Yeah, but even with Harrison was a true 3,
right?
Who could also defend 4s and play, and like he could defend up a position, which was key. Draymond was a little undersized for a power forward, but he was pretty clear-cut a power forward.
Right.
And Andrew Bogut was as good a defensive and passing center as there was in the NBA at that time. So, and then when they got KD, it was you've got the best pure small forward scorer ever, maybe. It's like him or Larry Bird.
Right.
And Larry played some 4, and KD played some 4 also. But I mean, Larry Bird also had Kevin McHale playing the 4. So anyway, it just like that. Like they had positions, and even the backups, right? It was, Livingston was a backup point guard, and Iguodala was a backup small forward. That could basically be kind of a point forward. So it was all. It was all right there.
Sean Livingston was your perfect backup to Steph.
Totally. All right. 808-1050, 415-808-1050. More chats. Let's go rapid fire. Gene McIntyre. Gene, I may or may not get a chance to see Gene again. I didn't get a chance to catch up with Gene the second time. I caught up with him the first time. Gene, I may hit me up tomorrow, Gene. We'll see where we're at. If not tomorrow, maybe Sunday. Gene chiming in here. Loon isn't really playable this series. And I think Kerr knows Loon isn't playable. He only played tonight to lay fouls on Adams. Otherwise, I think he was out of the rotation, and I think Kerr probably told him that. Lack of athleticism and scoring. He's not going to out-physical Adams. TJD can be more bouncy and quicker. That's how you win that. I think TJD, again, here's my thing. Less Buddy Hield potentially Sunday as we look to Sunday. I think, see if you can, I'll put it this way. I'm not starting Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's not starting Sunday.
Nope.
The starters are Steph, Podziemski, Butler, Moody, and Draymond Green. Those are the 5 starters. Write it down, screenshot, whatever. Those are the 5 starters on Sunday. Looney ain't playing. I think TJD can get some minutes with Post. I'm not completely out on Post. I'm not completely out on Buddy, but both of them are on a really short leash. I know Steve Kerr, Billy Joe from Alamo's asking about Kuminga. I think his career as a Warrior is over. I do think that. I think, we'll see. Kerr did not rule him out being a potential playable on Sunday in a Game 7. I would imagine, and I didn't bring this up to bring up Kuminga, but I would imagine that Kerr is not going to tap Kuminga on the shoulder unless they're in a really bad way.
I was going to say, you got to be pretty damn desperate if that's your answer.
Kerr said it's on the table, which, again, you're not going to rule a guy out 2 days in advance in an effing press conference. I expect, and of course, I should have known of all the scenarios and the things and the different machinations and whatever. I should have known it. I thought we were done with it, but as soon as the Warriors didn't win tonight, of course there was going to be 5 Kuminga questions post game. Of course there was.
Oh yeah,
because we've got. I'm going to tell you something, Brad. I'm going to let you behind the curtain. We've got media members just frothing at the mouth to get Kuminga more, paid. And get Kuminga more run and get Kuminga a bigger part of the action. I don't usually like to do that. Greg's Pops is one of the great all-time writers and reporters. But writers and reporters sometimes, not speaking about your dad specifically, have agendas and have relationships that they play to be able to garner an ability to get stories. It's part of the game. You don't hate the player, hate the game. But man, there are a lot of people in Kuminga's pocket. In the Bay. There are a lot of people who attach themselves to Jonathan Kuminga. There are a lot of people who attach their futures in this business to Jonathan Kuminga. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not crushing anybody. I'm not coming down anybody's road. That's fair. Mike Silver may want to have a word with me. That's fine. We can have a word. I love Mike. But and I'm not being critical of Mike, but the truth is reporters do build relationships that sometimes they protect and I think there are a few people, Warriors, Kuminga specific, that are doing that in this instance, Greg.
Look, man, all I'm going to say on the Jonathan Kuminga front is if he comes in Game 7, it's because things are not going to plan.
Yes, correct.
And if he is an answer and the Warriors get by this next series, and Jonathan Kuminga's a big part of it, then props to the young man, props to his mental resilience, 100%. And still, he's probably not on the team next season.
He's not on the team next season. That's a wrap. Could he help him in Game 7? Maybe, but you're right. It's going to be at a position of struggle.
Yep.
It's going to be from a position of struggle. All right, let's Rockets had an answer for every Warriors basket, no momentum on offense. I could not, if I had hair, I would have been pulling it out. I could not, like, if I had the Kyle Haar or the Greg Silver flow, I would have just been ripping it out, like tonight. Because I could not, if I were a Warrior fan, figure out what over the course of the game was the bigger issue tonight. I thought it was the offense early. I thought as the game went on, and I think my overarching theme at the end of the game was it was the defense. It was the defense that was the problem. And it's really both. The correct answer is both. But what was it for you? Let's go around the horn here on this one to everybody. We'll bring Kyle in here on this one as well. Offense, defense, both. Offense early.
If I'm picking one, I will say offense.
Okay.
But, and this is not to try to go with a cop-out answer, because my answer is offense.
115 for the Rockets.
But I will say it was also the big momentum-changing plays that the Rockets capitalized on and the Warriors did not. So, yes, I'm talking about rebounds off of missed free throws. And how about the play when, was it Moody that dove on the loose ball and tried to pass it, and it was a turnover, and then it led to the open three, and then the lead got back up to 7 or 9 or whatever it was. Was brutal for the Warriors who were trying to make a push. So, yes, the offense gets my selection for this question, but any big chance at a momentum-saving play or momentum-changing play, the Rockets capitalized, the Warriors did not, and that's kind of what prevented a possible comeback.
Come on
in this
over.
one.
You guys want to come over? Come on over. Come on over. Billy Joe, step up for a second. Just we'll get. Come on over. You guys want to? What's your name? John. John. Nice to meet you. No, we appreciate it. Do you guys have any comments on the game tonight? Do you have any? Let's, John, I'm going to go. Come on over. You come on over. Hang on. Come on, John. Come on, John. Just step in. Just for the camera. I'm going to give you the mic.
We did the good half of the Terry Francois two-step tonight, which was the Giants snapping a 3-game losing streak.
That's good. That's big. Needed.
Yeah, absolutely needed.
And then came down here, or you were kind of monitoring the game?
No, we came down here to have a beer and see you guys.
Beautiful.
And,
that's beautiful.
Looking forward to a Game 7 win.
That's beautiful. And that's all you can do at this point is try to keep it positive, right? Absolutely. No, kind of keep it positive. No, I appreciate it. John, thank you for stopping by. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. As always, and we hand Greg the mic. Greg, I don't know. Yeah, come on over. We had John. What was your name?
I'm Will.
Will, and we got Will. No, Will and Pacifica almost lost our license. So well, that's not going to be you. You got. I'll let you. You can hang on to that mic. You can hold the mic. You're Will. Step in a little bit. We can, just so we're on the we're on the screen here.
So I have to let you know I'm actually pretty good at this because I'm in a video game league on Monday nights. I love it. Sometimes I help announce.
Okay, that's good. So you're pro. You're comfortable holding the mic. It's all good. That's good.
Best on this show.
That's all right. Yeah, you don't.
I didn't want to say that out loud.
Take your credential off. Greg. Your thoughts on? Well, you were at the Giants game tonight, which is great.
I saw the game earlier. I saw the beginning of the Warriors game. I think it's tough. I think we're really used to excelling, but then again, that's what sports is about. I'm not happy about this, but we can work with it.
I like John's mentality, and I think you share that mentality, which is, hey, all you can worry about now is Game 7, and let's try to be positive if you're a Warrior fan and see if you can win Game 7.
I actually disagree.
Okay.
I very much disagree with what you're saying.
You're like forget that, John. I'm out on John.
You realize you're apologizing when you say that. Right?
Okay, there you go.
You're already apologizing.
Okay.
I want us going in. I want to say we're going to go in hot, and we're gonna win this.
Okay, right? There you go.
We're here to just go in flying, bring something we haven't before, and make them second guess. They get in there, they think they've got it. No, we're coming there with something different.
All right.
That's what I think.
What would you do different? One thing to do different, Will.
Look, I'm a mentality guy.
Okay.
Mentality. Okay. The specifics of it are less my forte. I'll be perfectly honest.
That's okay. More what? More physicality? More?
Oh, actually, so again, I didn't watch the full game tonight.
That's
so
okay.
I can't give you
That's okay.
But
Giants got a big win tonight.
It doesn't matter as long as sometimes you just have to pick something and go with it.
Okay.
That's different, right?
All right.
If you change something up.
TJD? I think TJD might fit into that. Play a little Trace Jackson Davis. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you with that. Like maybe a little TJD.
I got some for you guys.
Okay, one more for you, Will.
That's fine. We got peanuts from the game.
I love it.
Would you like a few peanuts?
We would, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna. We.
I mean, you're not taking the whole bag.
I'm not.
Like
No.
Very clear. I'm taking
Will,
the rest of them.
Will, I was never taking the rest of it.
I know. But you guys look like you were malnutrition.
No. A little bit. I am a little. I'm not gonna do it while I'm on the air, but I will take a handful of your peanuts. No, thank you so much. Cheers. Will, thank you. Cheers. John, thank you. Appreciate you for stopping by. Absolutely. Thank you. Again, we do whatever we want here on Dubs OT.
I like that. YouTube. I like doing whatever we want.
Kyle, we good on that? We're
good.
Kyle, we good on time? We got to take a break?
Although,
no,
we're not taking a break in the studio.
You are a little lonely, Kyle.
I saw the security guard pass by.
Kyle, we got to figure out. All right, if the Warriors can survive Game 7, which they might not. I mean, we got to be real about it. But if the Warriors can survive Game 7, we got to get you out here to Harmonic. We got to make this happen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We got to make it happen. We got. Yeah. I mean, if your dad can come out and say what's up, like, why can't Kyle come out and say? What's up?
I did it last year, and then the Warriors died 2 days later.
Come on,
so we'll have Kyle do it at some point if they can somehow get their way out of this one.
Both of you, come on over. We got.
By the way,
no, you're not. No, come on.
Do it.
Come on.
Do it.
Don't be shy.
It's okay. We're a peer pressure show, but not like bullying show.
Let's get a couple chats. Come on over. Let's get a couple chats.
By the way, did we get hit with the malnutrition label?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really eaten anything today. I've eaten like 2 cookies and had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a lot of assumption going on right now.
I'm just gonna say this. There was a lot. See how those did it? There's a lot of bullshit going on today. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of bullshit going on today, like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I had time to do everything I had to do except eat. And sometimes it just works out that way. But you know what? What a burger tomorrow! What a burger tomorrow
and a couple cookies.
I'm gonna have Whataburger for like the 10th time. Did we leave something? Oh, okay. Rusty Dale. Got to get back to scoring in the paint. Steph scoring in the paint in Game 3 opened things up. The Warriors were terrible. In the paint tonight. I'm going to bring up the numbers here. The Warriors were terrible tonight in the paint. They ended up 16 for 31, which is I think some of that was the guys at the end of the night that were in garbage time after the game had been decided.
Anytime Braxton Key is going up for a shot in the paint, that's a miss.
At one point, though, they were 6 of 15 at halftime. So they were 6 of 15 at halftime. So they were 10 of 16. They were better in the second half, but the first half is really where it killed them. And I appreciate it. Yeah, come on over. They need to be better. You can get in the paint, but you got to finish in the paint. Thank you, Billy Joe. Appreciate it. You got to finish in the paint. The Warriors are not finishing in the paint.
Well, also, they only had one guy who was drawing fouls in Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
And outside of that, it was nothing. So that's a problem.
That is a big-time problem. Continuing on here in the chat, here on Dubs OT, 808-1050, by the way, 415-808-1050. Come on over, Enrique Rivera. If Kerr gives Buddy playing time, which he will, book a loss. I don't think you cannot play him at all. The Warriors don't have enough good players to not play him at all. They don't have enough players to go. One more chat, and then we'll pause here. We'll pause here for our next at Harmonic contributor to the show. Zico Bond, Dubs shot 49 threes. They got to go at Steven Adams. Yeah, 49's too many. 53s is too many for me. It's got to be closer to 40. And I think sometimes I didn't think specifically the Warriors were settling tonight. I thought they were really settling early in Game 5. Part of that could be the fact that they were a little tired. To me, when you settle for threes, you're a little tired. All right, come on over. Let's get to our next. Greg, come on over. Do you want to say hi? Say hi. All right, we'll let you hold the mic. What's your name? State your name.
Okay, my name is Lori.
Lori, thank you for coming by. You can get a little closer just so we can see you on the camera.
Hello.
Lori, thank you for joining us here on Dubs OT on KNBR. Just quick thought on the game. Biggest takeaway tonight for you?
Well, I was very disappointed that the Warriors did not take home the win.
Yes, very, very disappointing. What disappointed you the most tonight as a fan?
All the turnovers.
It's always the turnovers, isn't it?
And
And Steph tonight with the turnovers, 4 in the first half.
Yes, he did quite a bit, and he looked tired. They looked tired, which really scares me for
Doesn't
Sunday's
bode well.
game. No.
Yes, that doesn't bode well because that's one of, and we've been talking about it, that's one of the advantages that the Rockets have is the youth, and as the longer the series goes, it's now reached the limit. They have the young legs, they have the energy, the athleticism, the vigor to make it happen. So that is a concern.
And it's a concern. Even if the Warriors win, they're going to have less rest for the next series.
Yes, and that's also something that was very much in play tonight. You win tonight, you get tomorrow, you fly, you don't have to play till Monday.
Exactly.
Now you got to play an intense game, win or lose an intense game on Sunday, and if you win it, then it's just more intense, and it's every other day now. Basically, for the rest of that next series, it'll be every other day.
Yes, and when so Chris Mullin had given a what do you call it? A fact that says the team that wins that's up 3-1, like 85% or something high like that, always wins the series. So he wasn't worried back, a while ago. But now I'm worried.
I would be worried, and I had an updated note actually on that as I scanned through here. So teams to win game 5. Teams to win game 5 of a best of 7 series. So going back even to Wednesday.
Okay.
They lost game 6 81 times. They would lose in game 6. They lost in game 7 22 times, won game 7 13 times. So there's only been 13 times if you do the math on that, 136. 13 out of 136 have come from 3-1 down in this series. So it is in that mid-80s percentage. So the Warriors, unfortunately, finding themselves not where they want to be right now. And they're one of the 13 if you go back to 2016 against the Cavs when Draymond got suspended in the finals, and then they ended up losing game 5 and game 6 and game 7. So they find themselves, unfortunately, on that list where they don't want to be, but they can still win Sunday night and save it. Lori, thank you for stopping by.
And one other thing.
One other thing. One more.
I felt like they kept trying to throw the threes versus
too many threes.
They had so many opportunities to go into the paint and do a layup.
Too many threes.
And they're missing their layups.
And they're missing in the paint. And I think that's where they settle. And I think also fatigue, Lori, is part of not continuing to attack.
The low percentage of their shots, all their shots, either 3-pointers or even in the paint.
Lori, you're the best. Appreciate it.
Lori, as the young ones say,
know ball. You know ball.
Lori knows ball.
Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you. Thank you. We hand it back to Greg. Have a great night. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. Enjoy Game 7, and honestly, if after the Warriors win Game 7, come back here for the next series if you're coming to one of the games. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Good. Yeah, Lori knows ball.
Lori knows ball. I got to say this, too. If the Warriors can win Game 7, and there's another series, which means there's at least 2 more home games, we got to just rage at Harmonic. And I'm not saying that in the irresponsible kind of way.
No. You're very responsible.
Just saying that in the way of like, hey, come on down. This has been fun. I don't want this to be the end.
No doubt. Billy Joe from Alamo, by the way. Lori, Rich Ray. Lori, put that one back up. Lori, like all of us, didn't like the final score, basically. Yeah, it was not good. And the turnovers, and they shot too many threes. I mean, that's a bunch of stuff we've been talking about here. Some really good points from Lori. Continue on. Let's do some chats, and we're going to get Billy Joe from Alamo's thoughts here. Billy Joe's like, he wrote a book. Like, I love it. And we're going to get to Billy Joe's takeaways. Michael, when your game plan is hack a blank, you lost. That's true.
Hack-a-kiwi.
Hack-a-kiwi. Hack-a-kiwi. Good emoji knowledge right there. Hack-a-kiwi. That's right. Continuing on. KM Johnson, can we stop talking about their inexperience now? Well, I've been for the most part. It does play in Game 7, though. I've been not talking about it really since Game 4, and Kyle can attest to that, and so can Greg. But I do think it plays in a Game 7. Experience matters in a Game 7. The Rockets, as much as they're thrilled to get home, there's a part of the Rockets' psyche tonight that thinks they won the series just because they're going home.
Yep.
And it's on the Warriors to make that not be the case by how they play. And let's be honest, it's going to be a rowdy Toyota Center on Sunday. It is. But if the Warriors can get them behind or make a run from Houston being ahead to make the game tight in the clutch, where the Warriors have been dominant in the series, 3-0, the building's going to get tight.
Yeah, but right off of this, and with that point,
tight.
With that
and
point,
their inexperience becomes a part of the building getting tight.
And if we want to have the conversation tonight about did the Warriors lose it, did the Rockets win it, the Warriors need to go and win this game.
Yes, go win it.
You need to go and win this game if you're the Warriors.
And if they lose it, it's because you put pressure on them to lose it, because you go in to win it. It's same difference. Same difference to be sure. Continuing in the chat here, Kyle. Let's keep it moving. Joke's on you. They put all their eggs in this basket, and Fred Van Vliet said, "Give me that shit. Give me that basket." Yeah, again, that's the way it's trending right now here on Dubs OT with JD and Greg Silver at Harmonic and Thrive City. We'll see how it plays out on Sunday as to whether or not they get the last laugh. Joe H. with, I think, one of the great points of the night. The two big lineup is killing the Warriors because, when do you ever see Steve Kerr? I keep coming back. When do you ever see Steve Kerr adjust to the other team? He never does it. It's always, we're going to go small, we're going to play our best five, and our best five is going to beat your best five. And the two big lineup has made Steve Kerr, just like we talked about earlier where Steve made him take Adams off, the Udoka with the two big has made Steve play an extra big when he wants no part of play. He doesn't even want to play one big, let alone two bigs.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And let's be honest, Quentin Post was a disaster tonight. TJD, I know. Everybody wants to see TJD. He started a handful of games this year. Guess what? TJD in playoff or play-in basketball, for that matter, going back to last year, hasn't been it. So maybe there's a way he can contribute in Game 7, but we saw TJD the other night in Game 4. It was 3 quick fouls, no defense, and not being able to finish around the rim. That's not saying I want that to be the case. I would love for TJD to have success. I get it. He's young. But if we're talking about what can be solved in the next 48 hours, I don't think TJD is that answer.
I think he could be. I think you could throw him in. I really do. I don't think it necessarily hurts anything. I think it comes down to the best players. It comes down to the best players, and unfortunately, the Warriors' 5, 6, 7 best players, none of them are 7 feet. In fact, none of them are taller than Jimmy Butler, I don't think.
Nope.
So, that's a problem in and of itself. But I think TJD could be, instead of Looney, some of Post minutes, whatever it is. I do think you can go to that. I think the other question is going to be Kuminga. I don't think he'll go to Pat Spencer in a Game 7. I think if he was going to do that, maybe he would have gone to it tonight. I think if he was going to go to Kuminga, maybe. We'll see. I think he's being nice on the Kuminga thing. I don't think, and it's part of why Kuminga didn't play tonight at all, right? He didn't even, I was kind of getting ready. Yeah, he ended up being the only player that didn't even play in mop-up time. And that, to me, by the way, is out of respect. People can say out of disrespect that he didn't play. Steve Kerr not playing Kuminga tonight is respect, not disrespect. It's basically saying, hey, look, I'm not going to embarrass you, even though you're already having a difficult time with the fact that you're not playing. So I would not take the fact that Kuminga was the one guy who didn't get in as a sign of disrespect. It's actually, I think, the opposite. Usually, to be honest, only star players are guys that have major cred in the league would even get afforded that opportunity. So I think, like, to me, that was like, you got to have like 10 years in the league, I feel like, to get afforded we're not going to put you in a blowout, even though you're not in the rotation card. And even then, obviously, guys will do it. So I don't want anybody saying, wow, Kuminga couldn't get in tonight. I do think his time as a Warrior is done. We'll see what happens in Game 7. But I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Like, that was not disrespectful not playing him. It was respect. It was actually kind of being overly respectful that he didn't play. Bennett Roth, is it fair to say if Jimmy didn't get hurt Game 2, they would have swept this series? Dubs won Game 3 and Game 4. Look, we talked about it. I had Warriors in 6. I think the Rockets have played better than I would have anticipated them playing in this series, as we've discussed a lot. There was a pathway to sweep it. The day I was in for you, Greg, with Papa, when you were out on jury duty on that Friday before the series started, I said to you straight up, I think there's a pathway to sweep it. You win Game 1. If Jimmy Butler doesn't get hurt, do they win Game 2? I don't know. The game was starting to settle in a similar manner in Game 2 as it was in Game 1. And so does that mean they were going to win it? I don't know. And if they win the first 2, do they win 3 and 4? If Jimmy's healthy, I think they definitely win Game 3. I mean, again, who knows? It's also who cares, because it didn't happen and it's not the way that it played out. And the Warriors now find themselves, for most teams, I said this the other night, for most teams that are the underdog in terms of home court advantage, the Warriors are the betting favorite, but for the underdog in terms of seeding and home court advantage, most teams in that position, I would say 95% of teams in that position, your pathway to win the series is split the first 2 and win all your home games.
Yep.
Split the first 2, win all your home games. Win Game 3, win Game 4, win Game 6, and end it tonight. If this were any other team, and it sounds like you're there, and a bunch of our folks that have come by, and Billy Joe and Derek and Danny and all. If it wasn't the Warriors with Steph 4 championships, Draymond 4 championships, Steve Kerr 4 championships, if it wasn't this iteration of the Warriors, I think everybody would agree that the Warriors spent their shot tonight and they're probably losing Sunday. Yeah. Like, that's what most teams, normal franchises that are trying to, like the Pistons, who ended up losing in 6. You want to split the first 2, which they did, and they played 4 straight amazingly intoxicating games. They lost all 3 at home. And that doesn't cut it. That straight up, that like, you got to win the home games. You split the first 2, you win all the home games, and so tonight was the shot. Tonight was the shot for the Warriors. It's the We Believe team in 2007.
Yep,
splits the first 2, wins 3 and 4.
It's also what the Lakers did to them in 2023.
Yep. It's the most natural path for that team that doesn't have home court advantage to win it.
Yep,
and they didn't do it. And most teams that are in the Warriors' position tonight that don't win the series, unfortunately.
Totally. And look, at the beginning of the series,
it doesn't matter if they would have swept them if Jimmy hadn't gotten hurt. They might have swept them if Jimmy hadn't gotten hurt. They might have.
At the beginning of the series.
Doesn't matter. It's going to 7.
And I was having a little text exchange with Sam Gordon from the SF Chronicle, who we like to have
Love
on.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam's awesome. And he's like, hey, what would you do for a prediction? He goes, I don't like making predictions, but it's for a special section of the paper. And we both agreed Warriors in 7 going into the series. So
it's good.
You might be thinking, well, Greg, why are you going back on your opinion now?
Yeah,
the way it's gone at this point,
I don't really care.
Yeah, the way it's gone at this point, I think the Rockets are going to win Sunday.
Wow, great. Again, I'm not betting against the Warriors. But I also wouldn't bet on them. I'm not betting against Steph and Draymond and Steve. But if somebody said, JD, you got to make a pick, I wouldn't do it. 808-1050, 415-808-1050. We appreciate everybody watching on YouTube. And tonight, as we continue on, we're going to probably go another 15 minutes or so here.
I'm going to get my nourishment.
Yeah,
after I got called out.
I'm going to wait for I'm going to not have my peanuts until after the show's over. But yeah, go for it. Go for it, Greg. More chats here. But if you want to chime in on the phone lines, if the Warriors lose Sunday, which appears likely, Looks like they'll be tied with the Sixers and Suns for the second most blown 3-1 leads in NBA history. The Clippers hold the record with 3. Again, there's only been, 14 or 13. Excuse me, I guess, at this point. But how many? I mean, who cares?
I was going to say,
this team did it one time infamously.
This core will have done it twice. I don't really care about the franchise tallying.
When you think about it. No, we're good. I'm good. Thanks, Billy Joe. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, this core would have done it infamously in 2016. This is a much more, Steve Kerr always says, welcome to the real NBA. I think this is this is more of a normal, real NBA team. But yeah, you don't want to be in that. You never want to be in that. You never want to be in that category. Next chat, Kyle. Rusty Nail, fun with numbers. How many teams have been up 3-1 and lost Game 7 on the road? Well, it's not many.
The Clippers, though, in 2015, the year the Warriors did win that championship.
Yes, they did.
They did.
In Houston.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the other. I had the note earlier. Again, it's only happened 13 times. See you, Derek. See you, Marcus. See you, John Curley, John Joe. Appreciate you. It's only happened 13 times in 136 opportunities. So, yeah, on the road it probably happens more than it does at home. I know the Rockets back in their most recent championship year of 95, they were down 3-1 and didn't have home court advantage and went into Phoenix and won Game 5, came home and won Game 6, and then won Game 7. That was the Mario Elie kiss of death shot right in front of the Phoenix bench in Game 7. Got a chance to, Mario Elie, part of both those Rockets championship teams in 94 and 95. But yeah, it's in the high singles, teams that have done it on the road.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead, Greg.
No,
they did get a lot of rest in Game 5, Billy Joe. Billy Joe said they got a lot of rest in Game 5, but again, they didn't.
Yeah, that was supposed to help tonight.
And they spent that rest. They spent that rest. By the way, I do want to get to Billy Joe's best ways for the Dubs to win Game 7. Curry 40 plus points.
Might be more than that.
7 threes. Well, and I know this was floating around. I think our buddies, the Light Years podcast. I love Sam and Andy. They do a great job. Great Warrior fans. They do a great pod. They were talking about over under 70 for Jimmy and for Steph and Jimmy combined. Over under 70 for Jimmy and Steph combined. Billy Joe says 47 trays. Yeah, that feels about right. Butler, 10 assists, 12 free throws.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I would say yes. And what, 20 and 30 points?
Yeah, because I was going to say
to get to that 70.
The Steph 40, my follow-up is, okay, how many does Jimmy give you? 27?
Kuminga saves the day. That was his third one, Billy Joe. Kuminga saves the day with 20 or more points. I'm going to take the under on 20 Kuminga points. And then I can't say the last one. I can't say the last one. That's a no. That's a no. I can't say the last one, not even on YouTube.
He's saying Steven Adams unavailable.
Yeah, he signed Steven Adams in the offseason. No, sorry, Billy Joe. I can't say that. We can't say that one. Even on YouTube, we can't say that. It's all right. No, it's not. Can't say that one. Not going to say that one.
The essential message is that Steven Adams isn't available for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, no, we can't do that. Enrique Rivera Adams is just playfully rebounding around a bunch of small people. That is true. And again, I know that is the big thing that I would say. I don't know what the Warriors can do about that issue for Sunday. There's one game left in this series, win or lose, and we can't go with Billy Joe's option. Sorry, Billy Joe. We love you. We can't go with that option. What? They have to gang rebound. It has to be. And that's one thing I think that the Warriors would hope that they could do better in this series that they just haven't done, and it's everybody rebounding. It's everybody collectively rebounding. It really hasn't happened. Dig on 117. If JK plays it will be like a Black Mirror episode. I'm not familiar with Black Mirror.
Oh,
Are
Black
you familiar
Mirror.
with Black
Yes,
Mirror?
of course. So it's a series in which
Explain that one to me, young fella.
it's like a little anthology where every single episode is its own self-contained story.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That actually fits. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, it'll be the JK story.
Yeah.
The Jonathan Kuminga story. All right. Continuing on here in the chat. Robert Brown, Adams, and Van Vliet are co-MVPs of this series. They are. They are, to be sure.
Not yet.
They are right now. Right now. Although you can't give an MVP when it's 3-3.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't give an MVP. In fairness to Greg Silver, you can't give an MVP until it's 3-3. Alex here from Harmonic. Alex, you want to chime in? Just say hi. Just say what's up. Do you want the mic real quick? We like taking Greg gets.
Let's go game 7.
Greg gets pissed when.
Come join us at Harmonic Thrive City.
Yeah. Hop in. Grab it, Alex.
Come join us. Let us pour you a beer. Game 7. Harmonic Thrive City.
It's the best place not in Houston.
Go Dubs.
It's the best place not in Houston to watch Game 7.
Come ask about all my nicknames.
You can come ask Alex about his nicknames. Alex, we're going about 11 more minutes. Is that cool? Is that going to be all right? Or we need to speed it up a little bit? All right, we're good on 11 minutes, says Alex.
Yeah.
Adams and Van Vliet co-MVPs of the series. Joke's on you. The role players are Charmin Soft, and they're going to be single. What? What is it? What?
As in, like, hunted on defense?
Or like single ply? Or single ply, maybe, Kyle? Single ply?
Yeah, or like not
Charmin
getting a
Soft
date
and-
on Valentine's Day.
I don't know about
I think
that.
they are all single. I don't.
I mean, they're all young. I mean, a lot of them are young. They might, they might have a to the the Big Lebowski, right?
Of course, yes.
Of course, Greg does. Before he was born, they might have a lady friend. They have a lady friend. The lady friend is your lady friend. Anyway, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know about the second part, but there's going to have to bring some toughness. Gene McIntyre, Gene in Houston. Who can start next to the three veterans? Kuminga and TJD. I get it. No space. It ain't Kuminga and TJD. You're not benching Moody and Pods. Again, it's Pods and Moody.
Yep. Go back to it.
Pods or Moody, ride or die. It's Pods or Moody, ride or die. Peyton's going to play. Buddy's going to get a shot. Quentin Post, I think, is going to get a shot. I think Buddy and Post are in the same boat. GP's going to get a shot. I think GP's the sixth ride or die, correct?
Yeah, probably.
And the one bench player that hasn't been playing, believe it or not, that I might consider is TJD. Because it's like you're going to have somebody have to get out there and lay 5 or 6 fouls anyway. Why
Sure.
not have it be TJD? And maybe his vertical spacing can help alleviate some of the pressure that the Rockets are putting on the rest of the Warriors defense. Because if you get downhill and they collapse, you can throw it to him. The problem is he can't finish. He just can't finish consistently enough unless it's a dunk. I would actually even put TJD ahead of Kuminga. I will, because Steve Kerr said it, out of respect to Steve, out of respect to Kuminga, I'll say, maybe Kuminga. I would be stunned. And look, I'll come on here on Dubs OT on Sunday and I'll own it. I would be freaking stunned if Kerr goes to Kuminga in a meaningful, unless the game was like getting out of hand early type of a role.
Yeah, like if it's a repeat of Game 5 and Kuminga doesn't have a migraine.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think that's that for sure. But good thought. Robert Brown, JD, who's your pick between Clippers and Nuggets tomorrow? I'm going to stick with, and I'm going to say this. I picked the Clippers.
Me too.
To win the series. So I'm going to pick the Clippers because I'm not going to flip-flop. Unlike Greg, who's now flip-flopping against the Warriors. Greg's flip-flopping against the Warriors now and picking the Rockets to win Game 7. I'm kidding. It doesn't matter. It's all
No,
good.
you're not wrong, though. You're speaking facts.
You're being objective.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Clippers because I picked the Clippers to win the series. I will say this, though. The Nuggets have played better than I thought in this series, although they were an Aaron Gordon. They were a tenth of a second on that Aaron Gordon putback from being cooked in this series, although it would have gone the game would have continued. There wasn't the game was tied at that point. But I think Aaron. But then Denver looked like they had it, and then they didn't have it. I'm going to pick the Clippers, Robert, in the game tomorrow. Who you got tomorrow? You sticking with the Clippers? You flip flop again?
No. I'm actually sticking with the Clippers because that was my pick pre-series as well.
I think I had Clippers in 6. Kyle, what did you have in this series at the beginning?
I think I definitely had it going to 7, and I'm pretty sure I picked the Clippers as well.
Okay, wow, Clippers in 7. Look at Kyle. Little brush to shoulder, just a little brush off.
I like road teams to win a 7th game when it's not what I just watched in the arena.
Let me tell you this. This is how I think. If you're a Warrior fan, you want the Nuggets to win because there ain't going to be multiple road wins in games. Right? There's only going to be one. There's only 2 game 7s, right? I'm not forgetting now. The East was trash except for Detroit and New York. So I'll pick the Clippers, but the Nuggets have impressed me in this series, and obviously they still have Nikola Jokic. JD, Warriors or Rockets? Ian J, Warriors or Rockets? And that's directed specifically at me because I think the Warriors are going to find a way.
Okay. You see the video of Cannon Curry upset?
I think the Warriors are going to find a way to win. I do not. I think the Warriors have been eliminated from championship contention tonight. And I think you could even say that after Game 5.
Yep.
I think I will say this. I think the Warriors have been eliminated from their ability to win the 2025 NBA championship. If you thought that was on the table, I know a lot of fans didn't think that was on the table. But if you thought that was on the table, I think they've been eliminated from that. But I do think similarly to Game 7 in Sacramento 2 years ago, I feel like Steph and Draymond and Jimmy find a way. Because, again, Game 7s are just different. And the Rockets, for all of that they've built up through Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, and tonight even in Game 6, this is going to be their first time in a Game 7. This is going to be Amen Thompson and Jalen Green and Şengün and the nerves and can they harness the belief that they've figured the Warriors out? Because I guarantee you the Rockets in their locker room believe that they've figured the Warriors out, and if they keep doing what they've doing, they're winning Sunday. Can they harness that versus the nerves and emotion and angst and about to take a dump? Can you harness all of that and a tight crowd? Rockets fans have seen it in 2018 in the conference finals. The Warriors have eliminated the Rockets 4 times in the last decade in the playoffs, twice in Houston. This would be the 3rd time in a row they've done it in Houston if they're able to do it on Sunday. It is going to be a tight building unless the Rockets do what they did in Game 2 and Game 5, and I do not think the Warriors are going to get punked in that fashion. I think if the Rockets are going to win the game, they're going to have to win it close. I think if it's close, the Warriors have the advantage. And so push comes to shove. If you're asking me, JD, you have to pick one. I'm going to pick the Warriors in Game 7, but I think they're in major trouble against Minnesota, who, as we've talked about, Minnesota is like a souped-up version of the Rockets with athleticism and size, only they have the skill. Nate Sorensen, does a Game 7 ruin their stamina for the next series? Short answer, yes. Short answer, yes.
Yeah, but what's your alternative? Season over.
Play it. Play it out. Play it out and get more experience. I mean, literally the only downside of playing another series is if you have like a Klay Thompson or a Kevin Durant kind of thing. That's the only downside. It's all upside. Honestly, it's all upside. Everybody's going to get their 5-6 months off. It's all experience for Pods and Moody and some Post. And if Kuminga gets back in the rotation, potentially
TJT.
Kuminga. It's all experience on that front for everybody. as it relates to that. Let's do a few more chats here. We'll go another 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up as we are in the 11 o'clock hour. Read the Steed. We all want to win, but our confidence levels are shaken. That's fair. I get it. I mean, Greg's I get it. And again, I don't want the pat on the back, but it's like, God, some of the bullshit, like it ain't 2018. Like the Warriors, and again, I'm not saying this. The Warriors don't completely dictate their own fate like they once did. That's just
100%.
That's just a reality. And I get it. Warrior fans are used to just, the Rockets, FOH. Like, yeah, Rockets, get out of here. Like, Rockets? Come on, man. Rockets? You don't, like, this is an older team. Like, the Warriors don't completely, like, the Warriors could play good. The Rockets could play great. The Warriors could play bad. The Rockets could play good. Like, the Warriors do not, the margin for error is little enough to where you got to go play a really good freaking game.
Last time they dictated their fate was 2019.
Yes.
And they had two future Hall of Famers get injured in the middle of the series. And Toronto, to their credit, they came in. They won all the games at Oracle. They won the series 4-2.
Yep. Yeah.
Even in 2022, when the Warriors went and won the championship, that was not a team that was good enough to dictate their own fate. Now, Steph in Game 4 of the finals had one of the all-time performances, and it gave the Warriors life, and it got them back in the series, and they found a way to win 5, and then they won 6. Even that was not the same team as 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15.
No question. Let's get a few more. Ugo, Dubs have nothing to lose. Play your ass off, see where it goes. Well said. I agree with that. Like, at this point, I think the mentality, excuse me, taking too many sips here, pardon me. I think at this point, the mentality has to be back where we were on February 5th, which is this team's 1 under 500. They've got no future unless they make some kind of a big move. They've made themselves a big move. That big move may mean you got to win a Game 7 on the road. Who we got in there? Jacob Violante. Jacob Violante, what you got, bro? What do you got, man? You got some za?
Apple slices, baby. We got some NB apples because I need to wash this taste of the Warriors loss out of my mouth,
dude. Like, bro, Jacob, give me Game 7. How you feeling about Game 7? Jacob Violante, man. Jacob, one of the best in the business. Jacob, always working behind the scenes. How you feeling, Jacob? Give me your. How you feeling about Game 7, bro?
I feel a lot less confident than I ever did before.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's a 50-50 shot in any situation, right? Going back to Houston is going to suck. Finding a way to stop those bigs is going to suck. Finding a way to stop Van Vliet from just cushing all these like nothing but net threes, man.
You can swear, man. If you
need to
swear,
find
Jacob.
a way.
Swear. You want to swear. You know you want to swear, Jacob. No, don't. All right, don't swear. Don't swear. All right, couple more here. Let's do 5 more. We're gonna do 5 more chats, Kyle, and then we're gonna call it a night here from Harmonic. Appreciate you, Ugo, because Grace and Alex have to get on. Pete, JD Silverhart could have performed better on offense than the no-show the Warriors in the fourth quarter. Look, I'll get my shots up. I'll definitely get my shots up.
Bro, I was in like the surgery center earlier this week, and I could have at least, tried to give you some good minutes on defense and rebounding.
Robert Brown Curry might need 70 to win the game. 70 for Curry on Sunday. 70 combined for the big two.
Yeah, 70 combined.
70 combined for the big two. You can take that last swig?
That's your cup, bro.
That was mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I finished like 20 minutes ago.
No, we're good.
You tell him, Greg.
You tell him. All right, 3 more, and then we're calling it. Read the Steed. JD had a full head of hair at the start of the season. Yeah, I did not, but actually, I could actually grow it out and surprise you. I got more going than Tom Thibodeau. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
If I grew it out, you'd be surprised. It's just not in the right places. That anyway. You. Greg, I hope you don't have to worry about that. You probably won't. Jimbo, Rockets figured out one thing. They are bigger and better. Wow, Jimbo. Bigger for sure. Better, maybe. Ugo, Dubs have nothing to lose. Play your ass off. See where it goes. We already played that one. 2 more, Kyle. 2 more.
Hold up.
Come on, that's okay.
Like we played
Again,
like all.
It's all good, Kyle. We got a bunch of chats. What are you talking about? Hype Flicks. Matt Chapman just asked if the Warriors won on live TV, and was awkward. Damn. Warriors let Matt Chapman down?
Matt Chapman asked if the Warriors ended up winning game 6.
That is brutal.
Lost.
And they also let Brock Purdy down, who was in the house at Chase tonight.
Makes me feel good about Matt Chapman and Brock Purdy for that matter.
All right,
though.
final one. Let's get to our Dubs OT comment tonight. We don't have to play the thing because we're on YouTube. But Pete Tolner. Warriors missing shots all fourth quarter like Greg Silver in every pickup at the Y. What? At the Y. Greg playing at the Y.
Damn.
Greg would be playing at the Y. That's fun.
I don't think I've ever played at the Y.
At the Y. Well, that's like a 30 years older than you reference. That's like an older than me reference. Nobody was playing at the Y when I was your age. That was a long time ago. People stopped playing at the Y like before you were born, I think, actually. Like, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know a lot of old rereferences, but I'm a little lost on this
your
one.
Your pops was probably playing at the Y. Your pops probably played pickup at the Y. Probably played pickup at the Y with Steve Kerr at one point. Nah, Kerr had a better gym. Kerr probably had a better gym. All right, that's going to do it. Kyle, let's go around the horn here real quick. Final thoughts. Kyle, you're going to go first, and then we'll go to Greg and then to me, and then we're ending this thing at 11, a little after 11, because people have places to go.
I have my lack of confidence going into Game 7 just because I haven't seen the Warriors stop the two big lineup.
Yeah, the two big lineup has been an effing problem, and I think Steve's got to lean into I think the Warriors need to spend their whole prep session tomorrow on gang rebounds so they can stay small. Good thought, Kyle. To Greg.
Yeah, that was very disappointing, and we'll see if the Warriors, with their old core, can defy the odds once again. But also, this is a big opportunity for Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, Gary Payton II, anybody else who gets trusted minutes.
Jonathan Kuminga.
And I mean, literally, anybody else
TJD. To
prove that they can be the player that they were supposed to be at home and weren't.
Great thought from Greg Silver. My thought on this is let it all hang. I mean, seriously, go in there confident. You know Steph's going to be confident. You know Jimmy Butler's going to be confident. The Warriors low-key got embarrassed the last two games, I think, if you combine them. Tonight I don't think was an embarrassment. I mean, it ended up not really close down the stretch. But I think if you combine the last two games, it's been an embarrassment.
Yep.
And Steph doesn't like to get embarrassed, and Jimmy sure as shit doesn't like to get embarrassed. Draymond doesn't like to get embarrassed. Steve Kerr doesn't like to get embarrassed. To me, it's let it all hang and just use your experience. You know, nobody expected you, honestly, on February 5th to be in this position, and try to capture a little bit of the use your experience while also maintaining the fact that it's everybody against you and you're kind of low-key the underdog, even though you're not really the underdog, and everybody's going to talk a massive amount of shit if you lose the 3-1 lead for the second time in a decade. I mean, that is real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, Warrior fans are going to have to deal with a massive amount of trash talk from not only the Rockets, but every fan base probably in sports if the Warriors don't get the job done here. But the reality is you got to play it, I think, like it's a free shot, even if it's not. And I think that's the mentality. Play loose, play free. Don't get tight. The Warriors have young players that could get tight like the Rockets, but I think the Rockets have more players that have the potential to get tight. I think that gives the Warriors an advantage. Lean on your advantages will be my final thought. Lean on your advantages. Your advantages are Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, Steve Kerr in a Game 7 in the first round of the playoffs. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks to the best chat in sports.
Even Bill M.
I don't hate you, Bill M. Thanks to the best freaking brewery in the Bay, Harmonic here in Thrive City, for for Grace here and Alex and Jesse was here earlier and Mike and Eddie. Love that. We appreciate everybody on hand here. Everybody in the chat. Everybody who called 808-1050. We're going to be back on KNBR on Sunday at right around 8 o'clock. 5:30 tip. We're on right around 8 o'clock. And win or lose, we're gonna go large. Win or lose, because that's how we roll. So for Billy Joe, for everybody who stopped by and said hi, not only tonight but all season, this isn't gonna be the last one. We will hopefully see you a week from tomorrow, right back here at Harmonic Brewing in Thrive City for Game 3 of the Western semifinals. But we are going to be coming to you Sunday at 8 o'clock after Dubs and Rockets go final from Houston. So we appreciate Greg, Kyle, Jacob. Anybody I'm forgetting, Kyle, tonight? I know there are a lot of people doing a lot of cutting.
Right, guys, here.
Yeah, all right. Appreciate that. And for Kyle Chung's plus minus. Also, Kyle Chung's plus minus, always unbeaten, and nice win for the Giants tonight as well. They're back at it tomorrow. No, by the way, no Just Dubs tomorrow because of Game 7 and things that need to happen to get to Game 7. So no Just Dubs tomorrow, and the Giants are playing at 1 o'clock. So no Just Dubs tomorrow. We will be back Sunday night. We were going to do a preview edition for the Minnesota series, had the Warriors won tonight, but no preview edition. Tonight was your effing preview edition. So for Game 7. So for everybody, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody here. We will talk to you Sunday night on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.